Hello, everybody. How we doing? Good to
love
see
that.
you all. That was a pretty good intro, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That was made from our friend Skimitar. He made that.
Hello, Skimitar.
So thank you for making that survey. Good to see you, everybody. Hope you're all having a fantastic day, night, evening, whatever it may be. Hope you had a really, really good week. So you might have noticed we're doing our stream at a little bit of a different time than normal, but we figured, given the circumstances, we can adjust. We can
accommodate that. Yeah.
Does this make me a diva?
Maybe a little bit.
Sorry, just change around. Whatever your routine is, throw it in the trash because I'm Lacey Lennon. Diva.
Well, we were more than happy to do that, and plus we just blame everything on Lyndon anyway. But speaking of Lyndon, how are you doing today, sir? You look like you're about to freeze your ass off, man.
I think after the floods and the fires, we're having fucking snowstorms here. It's freezing. Not quite, but it's very, very cold.
Yeah, I'm a bit cold.
Where are you at?
Sydney.
And it's freezing out there?
Yeah, well, if you go in the country, it's snowing where it's not supposed to be. So.
That's crazy.
He needs heating.
It's like over 100 degrees in LA.
What's that in Celsius? 35?
38, close
38,
to 40.
yeah.
38, yeah.
I forgot I'm on the stupid scale. I'm just like, I forgot. Back to being a diva. Sorry, how you guys do things. That's not how we do it here.
It's Fahrenheit, okay?
Well, don't worry. We got someone that can help meet you in the middle, and that's Steph from My Nerdy Home. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm awake and actually on camera today.
Yeah. It's almost like there's a special occasion. But
Yeah.
good to see you, Steph. And then my good friend Rhino down here. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing very, very well. I had an awesome stream today with Open Airlock Policy, which was a lot of fun. And, of course, how can we not, be excited for this? Lacey's here. We're going to talk Black Widow. We're going to talk some Marvel. We're going to talk some trash on Star Wars, hopefully. And, it's going to be awesome. Welcome, everyone.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the guest of honor, Miss Lacey Lennon, the beautiful, lovely, amazing, talented Black Widow herself. How are you doing, Lacey? Thank you so much for coming. We really do appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so happy to be here. And I'm doing amazing. I got my coffee as soon as I woke up. I was just like, oh, I'm a little sleepy. And then I'm just like, okay, order the Starbucks. I'm so happy because again, I get to be all bougie out here and I don't even have to go to the coffee shop. I just get it delivered to my door. So I'm living the good life. Life is simple and living the good life. Get my coffee and weed delivered to my door is life.
Love it.
Looks like the pooch is having a bit of a blast behind you as well.
Oh, yeah, I know. This is she's so happy. And the mornings are her favorite time. Usually we get up and we immediately go over to the park. And so she's kind of freaking out right now. She's like, what are we not doing what we're normally doing, Mom?
Well, we're sorry. We're sorry, Riley. We're going to take up a bit of the time today. But everybody, thank you for being here. We got a few things to talk about in case you didn't realize. I'll be keeping on a chat as will mods and everyone. Then let's just jump right into it. So, Lacey, we're going to start off with something very controversial. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Yeah.
I was born in Hawaii. Yes. I'm sorry for anybody that I have just offended. I love it. I also love the charcuterie boards. So I'm all about putting all these different flavors and combining them and seeing what it does for my taste buds. So I am for it. There's something with the sweetness of the pineapple and then the saltiness of the cheese and then also the tomato that I don't know, it ends up working for me. But there's other things in this world that some people absolutely love that I cannot, mustard. Mustard is one of the I know. So it's just I have weird taste buds and I can't even eat a regular banana. It's just I don't know if it's the texture or something. So I'll eat pineapple on pizza, but I will not eat just a regular banana because of the texture and the taste. But you give me banana bread or banana pudding or banana flavored candy, I love it. I don't know. I'm just a weirdo.
Well, I love pineapple on pizza and I love mustard. So you half won me over a little bit, I guess. Well, while she's sorting out with the dog, we'll catch up with everyone in the chat. I see Chef Nation's in here. Jade Shadow's here. Shout out to all the mods for being here. Really
Yeah.
do appreciate that. We will catch up with super chats as we go, maybe a little bit towards the end, but we'll just try to keep the conversation flowing. But Lacey, do you mind telling us a little bit about like your childhood and how you grew up? What was life like for you as a little one?
Yeah, so I grew up a divorced kid, so a little bit of craziness, and biological father was in the military, and so that's why I was born in Hawaii. I was born over at Tripler, a big pink hospital, and then shortly after that, I got to move over to England. I don't remember much because I only lived there for like a year or two. And then after that, I came back to the States and I lived with my mom, her sister, and then my grandparents is who I lived with. And then shortly after that, she got remarried. And so then I grew up with this stepdad who was also inside the military. And we got to live all over the U.S. I got to live in California, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland.
Oh, wow.
Got to go up to Pennsylvania, Oregon, Nevada. And then I even got to live in Japan for 3 years.
Wow.
So I got to travel a whole bunch. I got to meet a lot of amazing people. I didn't grow up like with a very, I wouldn't really say like a wealthy family, but I grew up with a family that was full of love and a family that just tried their absolute best. You know what I mean? So it's like grew up with a lot of heart and dedication and family that showed you like coming from the absolute bottom and like we're building from the ground up and, you know, and never to live your life looking at anybody else's grass because though it may look greener, like it's never greener basically. So I grew up with a lot of tough love and not really, you know, not really much of the materialistic stuff in the way, but I have 2 beautiful sisters and a beautiful mom and a beautiful dad. And yeah, I mean, it was really amazing. I graduated number 1 in my class, actually. I went to a math and engineering collegiate high school, which was absolutely phenomenal. And I was part of their PLTW program, which was their engineering programs, which dealt with CAD and then programming. And then we got into some electrical, but I didn't really enjoy the electrical. I enjoyed, you know, more so creating the inventions through CAD, coming up with the ideas, and then going ahead and doing the like blueprints for the patents. So that's what I really enjoyed doing. And like, I love like still to this day doing things that betters people's lives. I think that's really important to me. And so that was great. And when I first started college, I was an opera major, but did not grow up with very much money. So I could not afford to finish out college after my first year. And so after that first year, that's when I started getting into sex work as well. And then after that first year, started getting into cam. I lightly treaded over at the strip clubs. Then a couple years later, moved my way over to the Moonlight Bunny Ranch, which is one of the most famous brothels here in America. And
Is that in Vegas?
No. It's actually Northern Nevada. Everybody thinks that it's in Vegas, but it is Northern Nevada outside of Lake Tahoe. And that is a much better area to be in anyways, because the brothels down by Vegas are about an hour and a half away, no matter what. They're not allowed to be super close to cities. It's because of the populations. Like brothels used to be on wheels. And because if they were in counties where there was too much of a population, they would literally push their trailers just over a few feet to go ahead and cross into a different county's line. And then because it was just a lower population, so they could continue working there. So brothels used to be known to be on wheels. And now that there's less stigma and, you know, it's just like they've gotten more into the politics and everything, they get to be more stationary and they put themselves in places where they know that the population is not going to grow, basically. So then after Dennis had passed away is when I made my transition to come into porn. and it's been awesome. I've literally like it's really amazing because like I grew up in like such a lifestyle that like everything that I've always wanted, I've been able to obtain that by the age of 23, 24. And to know that this is just the beginning, like I've surpassed like everything that my family has done, like financially especially. Like I have completely surpassed them. And again, just to know like this is the beginning and knowing what I want to do with my financials and what I want to do with my life, and put them towards good use, put them towards my family, put them towards helping communities. It's like it's such an amazing feeling because my dreams and everything that I write on paper, like I get to do that. There is no ands, ifs, or buts. So I'm very grateful for the life that I grew up with because it showed me that I need to work hard and to not sit on life and not to be entitled in any sort of way. And then now that I have it, it's still there's absolutely no ego there, and it just I don't know, it just gives me a lot of courage and fulfillment that I'm actually going to do these things. So
That's
So
awesome.
how did you go from that to working with Axel, who we've had him on before, and he's like really fucking cool. Like everything he said, we're like, yeah, go man, go. So how did you find yourself working on his projects?
Well, there's not that many redheads in the industry, and there's not that many redheads who are actually decent. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that out there. I'm just like my girls, like I love them, but I'm just like, man, it's just like we could really like make something out of the whole redhead genre, and you guys just sleep on it. And it's just like most of them, they come in the industry with really poor attitudes. They have no acting experience. Where Axel knew that I had music background, and then he knew that I had the acting experience from college and high school. So he was hearing about me. I'm the only redhead on the Spiegler roster. And yeah, I mean, it's just like there's just not that many redheads who truly stand out in the industry for whatever reason. So it was kind of, I mean, I hate to like toot my own horn, but I was kind of the obvious choice. It's just like, he's even told me, he's just like, I am freaking out because he's like, I have so many other roles I want to put you in. He's just like, but I wonder if people are going to get mad at me because you're going to be in every movie.
You're gonna be in everything.
Different person. He's like,
Yeah,
they're
they're
mad.
now. It's not just your industry though. It's like the Hollywood industry. They're slowly pushing out redheads and recasting them. How
Yeah,
does that make you feel?
I know.
Because
but-
even we were talking earlier about Disney princesses. Even the Little Mermaid, a redhead, a very famous redhead,
Very
was
true.
recast.
Right, but we're going through POC, you know what I mean? So when we're going through something like Black Lives Matter, and I will have to side with Disney a little bit on this one because I know that they're trying to bring in more women of color within the remakes and everything. So it's like for me as a redhead, because I know how much I get discriminated for it, and I know how much that I go through a lot of shit, people saying, "Oh, you're heartless," "Oh, you don't have a soul," or or they'll be like, "Oh, you can't be out in the sun," or just like little things that like really hurt my feelings. Or sometimes from movies and DVDs inside the industry, I will literally be told, "Oh, we can't have you for this movie because we already have a redhead." And that happens all the time in the industry when they go, "Oh, we can't have you in this movie because we already have a black girl." So my thing is like I can slightly relate, except for their situations are 1,000 more times extreme. That if it was Disney putting another blonde, blue-eyed bitch as the motherfucking main character again, that is when I would get pissed off. But I'm just like, they can put as many women of color as they want in their movies because I'm like, it's about damn time. So that is something that I personally okay with, just because we're dealing with the Black Lives Matter and we're dealing, with POC and everything. So, but at the end of the day, when it comes back to a lot of the other redhead actresses being pushed out, it's just like I again think it'll also be a little controversial, only because I think it's whoever's the better actress should go ahead and be in the role. I got Black Widow because there is nobody better to fit this role. There isn't a better actress. There isn't a better face. Like there isn't somebody better for this role. But if there is somebody better for the role, especially in Hollywood, like that is what that they need to do. They're there to make money. They're there. They need somebody to not waste their time. Like, we don't get to see behind the scenes in the BTS of how many takes that these people have to do. We're not seeing behind the scenes. Do they have their lines memorized? Are they difficult to work with? Are they a complete cunt on set? That is another thing, because there's a couple redheads in our industry that they think that they're, you know, because they're redheads and because they're so unique, like they deserve all this special attention, and they, you know, get all this leeway when it comes to their lines and their scenes. Like, I just heard about this one redhead who got completely kicked off her set because she refused to do what that the scene wanted her to do. But it was just hair and makeup alone. She never even got to the scene. She would not do the hair and makeup that they wanted her to do, and she fought it so badly that the director was like, I don't need this. I don't need this attitude, and I don't need this type of person. I will just go ahead and hire somebody else. So it's just like, I think that we can look at things, you know, completely outside and be like, this is unjust and this is unfair, but we're also missing all those minute details of who is actually dedicated, who has, you know, who is able to put in the work, who is able to actually fulfill what the movies need to fulfill. And sometimes that is a major deciding factor.
My thing with that, though, is I feel like I agree with most of that, but I think when it comes to Disney, they're very hypocritical. Like they'll say one thing and then do the other, and that's where a lot of the argument comes in. So Disney's
and it becomes so obvious because it's happened so much that it just becomes so blatantly obvious.
Like with John Boyega on the Star Wars poster.
On the poster,
like, the way they shrunk him and all that. So it's like they're saying one thing.
You don't have to tell me about them jipping redhead characters because they ruined Mara Jade's entrance too. Like, there's no way that Disney could ever put fucking Mara Jade into those movies. So don't worry, all my hopes and dreams have already been ruined. So it's just like, thank you, Disney. So if we want to go ahead and talk about like other redhead characters, though, I mean, they've totally educated just certain opportunities for redheads even to come in. So let's just be honest about that part. So I do agree.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mara Jade, would you say she's one of your favorite Star Wars characters?
Absolutely. Just because, like, I don't know, I've always had the biggest crush on Luke. Like, so I've always had the biggest crush on young Luke. And even, like, I mean, just Mark Hamill, just in general, like, even now, I'm like, Daddy is a gilf at this point. Like, I'd still hit that. I'd be like, that's fine. Put your saber in me. Light me up. I'd be like, no shame in this. Man, I'm 24.
That's awesome.
I saw a clip with Mark Hamill very recently where they were interviewing him and they were asking him about some of the new movies, and they were talking about the character Rey, and he said he was like, oh, you know, she's an orphan that lives in the desert that finds a robot that has secret information that blows up a super weapon. But it's fresh because she's a woman. Like, that's probably like how Disney does it. It's like, you just stole the old story, reprinted it, and trying to sell it as fresh. So that's kind of where like the Disney argument comes in with.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. That's all that they do is repeat themselves. I mean, even if you go back to the Disney princess, young girl goes through traumatic experience and needs a man to save her. Oh, suddenly he saved her, and now she can live happily ever after. Like, it's the same exact story that they've done that with almost everything that they do. And then even if you bring in their Pixar movies are almost exactly identical, which is why they're all tear jerkers. Like, they all follow the same exact format. And it's just like there isn't much of a difference in any of them. Somebody has a sob story, basically. They go on a journey to go ahead and fix that sob story, and then at the end it's a happily ever after. It's generally the same format every single time. So it's like, to think that Star Wars would be any different. No, we're gonna go look at what everybody else successfully did, and we're just gonna go ahead and change it a little bit and completely call it our own, because we're a new modern age director, and we have an insightful view that, you know, George Lucas just could never come up with. You know, like, there's no way George Lucas could ever come up with something so amazing because he's never done that before. Like,
you are a goddess.
When it's just a blatant copy of that. So getting back onto Black Widow, how did this all come about with you getting to the chance to play Black Widow?
So Axel had sent me a message and he was just like, you know what movie's coming out later this year, right? And I was like, duh. I was like, ScarJo's Black Widow, fucking finally. And he goes, so I'm thinking that I maybe want to do it. And I was just like, and I'm Black Widow, right? And I'm like, you're not just like telling me about this. I'm like, don't let me just be a gossip buddy and like you hire some other fucking redhead. And then he was just like, I would love to have a meeting and to talk about all this. And I was like, absolutely. So my normal outfits that like I wear on a day-to-day basis, like I don't really like to wear like super tight clothing, and I'm the person who will wear a turtleneck in 120-degree weather. I'm like totally that person because I'm like, to be a classy bitch is everything. Doesn't matter. And so I was wearing a turtleneck long sleeve shirt that was dark, and then I was wearing very 80s inspired flare jeans with a tight black waist belt, and then I was wearing a trench coat. And I walked up to the meeting and like he looked up and he was like, my fucking God. He was like, this is happening. And he was just like, look at you. He's like, you are literally a walking Natasha. And like I looked at him and I was just like, well, yes I am. And so we sat down and we went over everything about how many scenes that he was looking for, the storyline, about how many days, about the costume, and everything sounded wonderful to me. And then from there he contacted my agent, and yeah, I mean the rest is history. Like I'm so easygoing that I'm just like, when somebody else is inspired and is passionate about something, I become equally as inspired and as passionate. Like it is just like, whatever you need out of me, like I am willing, because I can tell you're so passionate. I can tell how much that this means to you. So Axel knows that about me, and you know, anything that he threw at me, he was like, Lacey's gonna do it because she understands how important this is, and now this is as equally important to her as it is me. And so I even told Axel that it's just like, I've never felt, you know, I've never felt so important before. Like, you have finally made me feel important in porn. You are giving me a role that is going to stay with me for the rest of my life. Like, this is something that the fans are always going, you know, to be like, hey, remember when you were Black Widow? And this is going to be, it's just the most amazing project that I've ever been a part of, because it finally makes me important. I've gotten a script that is actually worth my while. It is rare in porn that I get to say that, because the scripts are generally dog shit. Like, they are dog shit, and it is like, oh, suddenly in love with my stepbrother and my stepdad and my stepmom and my stepsister. You know what? This big old step family, I'm just in love. Like, I've been dying. Favorite thing to do. Fuck regular sex. I don't want to just, you know, any normal person. No, of course not. And I don't want to do that. It has to be somebody who's step. Like, where there's no other way to turn me on. Like,
how did you like prepare for the role? Like, what sort of research did you put into the character of Black Widow and Natasha? And
so I'm already a comic book fan, and I am already a nerd. So I already knew Natasha. I knew her background. I knew who she dated. I was like, I've always been really big on like the comic books with like the heroines and like who that they date. And I'm just like, and trying to figure out like the timelines and being like, wait, would this mean that you guys are dating at like the same, and be like, oh, alternate universe. Hold on. I'm like, hold on, we're on the multiverses here. Like, hold on. And so I love doing that type of thing. And so it's just like, because I think a lot of like, because especially with Natasha, through her time periods of who that she was dating and where that she was at, she had different perspectives on life. And it's just like, you know, where like certain points where she was raging and she was still a little cunty and everything, and, you know, a bit, you know, two-faced. And then, you know, you bring her back over, you know, when she's with Tony Stark, and you have her with Captain America, and, you know, now she's over with the Avengers. And so it's just like, I really like, I already did that type of research even before I got the role, and I'm a huge ScarJo fan on top of it. Like, I know a lot of people go ahead and talk shit about her in Black Widow, but I love her in other things. And I'm just like, so I think that she's beautiful, and I totally commend her for marrying Colin Jost. Like, yes, girl, get yourself a funny man. Like, get yourself a man that can make you you laugh, and I bet that motherfucker cooks too. I bet he cooks. I bet he cleans. He cracks jokes. I bet he lays the pipe good. Like,
Oh, dude.
in Hollywood, you didn't get no pretty boy. Like at first, she was with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, she was with Ryan
You
Reynolds.
think that he did anything? No, he probably laid there like a dead fish, and she probably had to ride on top. That is probably what happened, and I could not do that either. No, bitch. I bet Jost lays the motherfucking pipe on her. He's like, this is Scar Joe. I gotta keep her. Like, he knows she's Scar Joe. Like, does he know that she married me? Okay, I gotta give it to her.
Got a quick reminder.
I'm not even on her at all. I bet he's on that shit. Like, but
He
so
knows what he
otherwise,
has.
Something that I did have to do for the movie was I had to train, and I did boxing training, and then I did a lot of training at home watching YouTube videos on gun fighting and stunt fighting as well. Oh, poor Dad. I don't think he'll care too much. I don't think he gives a fuck, especially after you watch Black Widow. He doesn't give a fuck. He's got plenty of bitches to lay down his pipe on. Like, I don't think he was very mad at Captain Marvel.
No.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
I'm just like, I think he got past ScarJo a long time ago.
You said you were watching gunfight training videos?
Yeah, I was doing like a lot of stunt work. Yeah, so I was just on YouTube. I wasn't watching anybody in particular. I was just watching a whole bunch of stunt videos and everything because I didn't want to hurt my scene partners. And because I was doing my regular boxing training, and I told Axel, I'm just like, like the way that I'm being trained right now is to actually kick somebody's ass, right? And he was like, I didn't think about that. And I'm just like, yeah, I said, because like the way that I'm being trained right now is like, I'm going to sock somebody in the actual face. Like, she isn't having me stunt train right now. She is literally teaching me how to fucking kick ass. And like, if I punch somebody in the face, like they will be knocked the fuck out. Like, I know it for a fact. So after I got my costume, and because I have toy guns here at home, like one of the last cosplays that I did here at home was the Nostalgic Critic, and so I had to have a gun for it. So I got this like really, really cool gun, and so like I was just here at home and like practicing because I have like a little fake Black Widow costume here at home, which has like the holsters, and so it's difficult because you don't want to look down. Like when you put your gun back into the holster, you don't want to have to go. You just want to look forward and just be able to do it. So, and then to be able to pull them out and be able to switch them, be able to drop them, pull them back, do like any sort of spins or anything like that. So those are things that I needed to practice here at home because these are little things that I wanted to add into the movie. I'm just like, I didn't want to be boring. I wanted to be like, oh yeah, she's played with these before.
So it's fair to say there's quite a bit of action in this movie.
Oh yeah, as much like I told Axel, like I was like, please, like let us do the absolute most. Like I want to do the absolute most in every single one of these scenes. And he's like, I like your style. He's just like be overly annoying and be bright and flashy and pull in cool cars and cool outfits and like with the Taskmaster and his mask, like fuck the face paint or like an actual just like little face plate on the mask. It's like no. Ramon's costume, like they made his head and his face into a full cow. Like it's 100% molded just to him, and he's able to have function of his eyebrows, his eyes, his nose, and of course his mouth. So like when he smiles, his cheekbones in the thing, they fully move with him. It is amazing. Like it looks awesome. So, like obviously because of the picture, it looks so stationary. But when you guys get to watch the video, like no, he has so much function over his entire face and so much emotion. It's creepy, but it also turned me on so much. I was like, Ramon, keep doing that. Keep doing that.
One thing about that though is that actually looks like Taskmaster. I can tell that's Taskmaster just by looking at it.
Yeah.
Versus Power Ranger.
Yeah, exactly. Well, to be
he
fair,
literally looks like a Power Ranger. I was just like, what is this? Like,
yeah.
Well,
that
looks awesome.
That I don't know. I think it looks okay. It doesn't look like Taskmaster to me though. No, like, I wouldn't know that was Taskmaster if you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
It looks. You know what it looks like though? To me, it looks like something from like G.I. Joe.
It does look like something.
Oh. Yeah, no matter what, it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
look like Taskmaster. That's really simple. Are you able to pull
Yeah.
up a picture of the actual comic?
Yeah, Lyndon, can you get that? Can you
How
get
was
that Taskmaster
how
image?
was your costume? Like we've always talked like having Kenzie on and having Seth on, and obviously having Axel on. We've always talked about his costumes, and he's very dedicated to
Yes.
the source material when it comes to the outfits. How was your outfit?
Oh, it's
Your costume.
perfect. It's literally perfect. I'm looking at my little action figure I have over here that I was sent by a fan. So somebody asked like if we were going to be bringing back like the OG Black Widow with the fishnets, which what is that, like the silver period or like whatever. And I'm just like no, we're not going back. Oh yeah, for Taskmaster. Like
Yes,
Axel literally nailed it. Like that is what he's supposed to look like. And that is what Axel made, like, because that's what he does. Like, he doesn't try to stray too far from like what people are used to and what people know, because that's not the point. The characters were respectfully made by a group of individuals who have made this entire industry iconic. They built it from the ground up. So the least that you could do in Hollywood is at least give those artists and give those writers at least 1% of goddamn respect and actually try to make your characters look at least like slightly similar. But for them to go ahead and stretch them so fucking far from what the original comic books look like, it's absolutely disrespectful to me. Like, throw your ego away. Your money doesn't fucking matter. And it's just like, do what's right, because guess what? You're going to be forgotten about. Your films will be forgotten about, and people will make fun of them. Like, when years go down, people are obviously going to forget about it, and then they're just going to talk shit about it. So do you feel good about yourself now? And that your movie, as it's like for the movies, like, you're not going to make as much as you thought that you were going to make. Like, hopefully that happens. And it's like, it really sucks because I feel like it's not an ego check for them when their movies end up undercutting for what that they're supposed to be making at the box office. They just keep doing it, and I'm just like, I hate you. Like, you guys have too much money. This is privilege. That is privilege, just to go ahead and like be able to put out bullshit, bogus movies when there's so many people out there that would put in so much more heart and soul into these projects and be like, I don't even want paid. I feel like there's a countless amounts of people out there that be like, I don't even want paid. I don't even want a big paycheck. Be like, if I do, yeah, it's cool because I'd like to pay my bills. But at the end of the day, it's just like these things should be more passion projects versus money hungry projects.
Yep.
Yeah,
Amen.
you see that a lot. Like, even just before the Taskmaster, like, you're telling me that's Taskmaster, and I wouldn't know if they didn't come out in the movie and tell me that's Taskmaster. I wouldn't know that was him. And it kind of gets to the point where it's like, well, don't they see that this kind of hurts everything overall? Because, like, I don't know, a kid goes and sees the ScarJo Black Widow movie. They're like, oh, cool, Taskmaster. That's my introduction to Taskmaster. Then they go to buy Taskmaster comics, and they're looking at it going, wait, what's this? I don't want to buy this anymore. So it's kind of hurting everything across the board. They don't seem to.
I think Disney might think that the comics are a little corny because, like, people that I know who aren't comic book fans, a comment that I always get, like, from my friends, they're like, I don't understand why and how that you like that stuff. That stuff's for kids. It looks like it's for kids. And I'm just like, okay. I'm just like, all right. I'm like, you fucking loser. Judge me. Like, you fucking weirdo. Like, go read your novels, I guess. Go read real words. Go read a biography or something. Like, go away. Go watch your crime documentaries. You're one of those people. You would rather, like, go watch your cold cases. I know who you are, Karen.
That's me. I love crime documentaries.
I kind of agree that, though. Like, I see heaps of people, even to this day, that say, like, oh, what's the big deal about it? Blah, 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 blah. What's so iconic? And then, like, like, you pull out like a copy of The Killing Joke, like going, you're telling me this shit's for kids? Have you read The Killing Joke? This is one of the most fucked up stories you'll ever read in your life.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
Or like there's an alternate universe, a Peter Parker with Mary Jane, where he impregnates her and she gets pregnant with his radioactive sperm, gets cancer, and dies. I was like, what the fuck, Marvel? I'm like, what's okay? If you wanted abstinence. Like, this is how you got it. Like,
Yeah.
like, well, maybe my boyfriend has radioactive sperm. Like, I don't want to get cancer.
That would be a bit of a pickle situation, isn't it? Another thing that's pretty common in Axel's parodies is there's a lot of comedy, and he'll make like a sometimes slight, sometimes pretty obvious digs at like the mainstream version.
Yeah.
Can we expect anything like that in your Black Widow?
Duh. I'm just like, there's so much to make fun of at this point. Like, they're making it too easy for Axel. Like, literally, the script is just one after the other. Like, we would have to stop filming because everybody would be laughing so fucking hard. And because, like, one person would go ahead and say a statement, which was a shot over at Disney and Marvel. And then another person would hit a statement, you know, just one shot after the other. And then we'd all pause in silence trying to hold it together. And then we just bust out laughing because we're like, this is too good, Axel. Like, man, you are not being easy on them, are you? And he's just like, no. He's
That's
like, fuck those
awesome.
people. He's just
Can't
like,
wait.
I love
the
that.
entire script, just from the beginning to the end, is just, it's so comical. Like, it brings in these moments of seriousness. And then it's just like instantly he brings in these moments for comedy to go ahead and like release any of that tension that he brought onto the set. Because again, all the characters that he's brought into the movies, it's just like, especially within the comic books, like they can tend to be a little serious at times. And so he wanted to play with that. And so he brings in the seriousness and he's like, hold that bad bitch pose and be that bad bitch. And then we're going to have somebody else come in and just ruin it. And I'm like, that's great. That's awesome. I love it. And so, yeah, so there's going to be a shit ton of comedy, and I can't wait for you guys. Like, it sucks that it's just like he hasn't released any more characters because there's so fucking many. Like, there's so many characters in this movie. And I'm just like, man, if I could just like, until when you guys find out who else is going to be in this movie, you're going to be like, oh, this is comedy fucking central. Like, this is what this is gonna be. Like, wow, this is, and I don't know, it's just because I was part of Captain Marvel and I got to read and, be a part of the script and everything. I will say, I think that this one has probably like some of the most comedy I've seen. So I'm really, just with all the characters that he's brought into this movie and everything, and like letting everybody just flourish with what they naturally already do and who that they are. It was beyond easy for him to do that. So I think he kind of had his dream cast on this entire movie that he's doing, and nobody failed him. Like, there's not a single person who has failed Axel, and like everybody's given more than 110%. It's been really beautiful. I made sure, because I took Polaroids on set, because I told everybody, like, you guys have made this so special for me that I want to take these like once in a lifetime, pictures that, can't be redone. And I want everybody to have these memories because everyone here is just so amazing. And the work that you're putting, into this movie, it means so much to me. And knowing that everybody's putting in the amount of effort that I'm putting in, it's just, it shows, and I'm beyond grateful. Like, to be able to have a group of friends and a cast like that, it's rare to have everybody kumbaya, have no beef on set, and just everybody just be in their element and be like, this is amazing. We're happy to be here. We love who we're working with. And it shows on screen. It shows on set. There's so many times where we cut on set and Axel would have to yell at us and be like, stop having fun. And he's like, stop having fun and come here and come work. And then Axel would then start getting into like an amazing conversation. And then Ben, our videographer, would be like, Axel, shut up, so we
get to work.
Like, the energy is just so good on set, and everybody loves each other so much that it's just like the time passed by. I think our first day was 16 or 17 hours. It was amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. I loved every single minute of it. And I hadn't slept for that was my third day without sleep. So I had a shoot 2 days beforehand, and it lasted until midnight, and then I had to get on a plane and fly to Arizona. And so that shoot ended at midnight, didn't get home till 1 a.m., had to be on a plane at 6 a.m. the following day to go to Arizona. Then my flight at nighttime on Arizona, it ended up being delayed and then left early. So then I had to sleep at the airport. I then had to get a flight from the airport in Arizona over to LAX at 7 a.m. and had to be on Axel's set by noon. So I literally, and then Axel's set was 16 hours. And so we didn't finish, we didn't finish until... let's see, because I actually got to set a little bit later that day. I got there at 3. We didn't finish until almost like 7 a.m. the next following day. And I will tell you, like, I was just so hyped up and so excited for the day and the role and the costume that I was just basically sucking down Red Bulls and sucking down water and drinking as much coffee as possible. And then by the time I got home, like, I slept for 2 days straight. I was like, wow, what a long
Wow.
days.
Were you gonna say something before, Steph?
Oh yeah. So now the Black Widow movie has been delayed, so many freaking times because of COVID. It's just been delayed. Does Axel, to do all of those jokes and have this movie, the Captain Marvel one was so close to the actual movie that came out, does Axel get like advanced scripts, or does he know what the story's going to be in order to make his movie match or kind of match the theatrical
because Axel bases himself off of comic books. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He likes bringing in the realism of and the comedy within, what's happening on the Hollywood side, but he doesn't really care about what their exact storyline is because we're given the comic books way before everything else. So he doesn't have to wait on Hollywood because as a comic book fan, he can go, oh, I can watch the trailer or I can even hear from Hollywood because he has insiders and everything, and he can hear what their premise is, and then he can pinpoint it in his head and go, this is this comic book and this comic book and this comic book that they're pulling from, and then he goes, I don't even need any more information. I can solely look at the comic books and know that they're gonna fucking fail and go ahead and rip them to fucking pieces while putting in the good shit from the actual his life is too easy. Like they literally make it too easy for him. Like they literally walk into the trap because that's just what they're gonna, whether Axel was there or not, like they're gonna do what it is that they're gonna do, which is fail. And it's really easy for Axel to clean up the pieces because he's just so good at what he does and he's been doing it for so long that, like we said, when they repeat themselves in movies with Star Wars, the Disney princesses, the Pixar, and with the Marvel movies, that they're just repeating themselves mm-hmm. and not putting in any of this added flavor, it is not hard for him to figure out, well, what do I think that they're going to do in this movie? Like, they're so repetitive that he's just like, I don't even have to know any information. Like, they're easily read. It's as simple as that.
Do you find it interesting how, like, a lot of people that are like into the comic books and the source material and all that will just rip apart the mainstream movie when it comes out, maybe some redeeming parts here and there, maybe a cool fight scene, whatever it is. But for the most part, we'll just say this doesn't match up with X, Y, and Z. But then like we'll watch like the Axel parody and be like, this guy gets it. This guy's clearly read it. Do you find that interesting crossover to be a bit interesting? Like the way like people that like the comic books are more interested in seeing like your movie?
So's Hollywood, though. I learned that on set. I literally, I talked to Axel about it, and he was just like, they look forward to his parodies, is what I was told. Like, this is, it isn't something where they're like, oh, I can't believe porn is doing this. No, apparently he is applauded in Hollywood, and people are like, you're doing what we want to do, dude. Like, if we had it our way, we would like to do it your way, but they don't get to do it like that. They have to stay within corporate, and corporate says otherwise. Like, it's just like corporate says otherwise, and then I think that the main directors have, just superior egos, and I feel like they're trying to put their own flavor and flair on things, so somebody can be like, oh, this is their film, but like you don't really get to be you can't be a Quentin Tarantino. in Disney or Marvel or like that's not what this is. This isn't your little shining moment to be your individual unique character, and it's just like that. That's not your place and that's not your role. But I think that's what's happening is that people are so in the day and age of wanting validation and wanting that being like, oh, I did this, oh, this is my view on things, and it's like that's not what people are looking for, and that's not what that they want. Yeah, I just personally think it's really about the money, and it's just like people know what the fans want, but it's just like I think that there's again a lot of drama that happens in Hollywood that they tend to never really give a shit about what the fans actually want. I feel like they have a feeling that they go, no matter what we put out, they're just fans and they're super fans and they're the geek community. So they'll watch whatever we put out. They'll play whatever we put out. They'll read whatever we put out because they're geeks. And it's like, why'd you do that though?
Yeah.
Like, why'd you do that? Like, why do you make us feel like we're less than and that we're not intelligent beings and that, that we're not that simple. Like, geeks are not just simple human beings where we're, with our fucking inhaler and like, we're not that simple and like, oh, we got a comic book. Oh my God. My life is perfect now. Like, oh my God, I got the new edition of the comic book. I'm so satisfied. I'm so simple. Like, no, that's not what being a geek is. We invest so much time and so much money that when we feel like we're being ripped off, we walk the fuck away. We spend so much money on memorabilia. We spend so much money on seeing these movies, in theaters and IMAX or, the fancy theaters, putting in this money, dressing up for some of these movies, going to the events, going to the Comic Cons. Like, there is so much energy, effort, and money that we are putting into the things that we love that when we feel that we're getting screwed over and that people are just sleeping on us and being like, oh, they'll just buy whatever. No, we won't. We really fucking won't. Like, we're not going to be doing that anymore. And that's already apparent within Star Wars because we discussed last night about how their box office numbers have plummeted. And it's just like, guess what? We will walk the fuck away and we will wait for somebody to actually put out something that we can tell that they give a shit about us. Because just like, we're not just going to give you our money because we're simple human beings that are easily satisfied. That's not true.
Well, it's funny.
We've seen that too with the merchandise as well. Like, with the merchandise as well for Star Wars. I see Star Wars merchandise that was in Target one week and at the dollar store the next week. And it's constantly on sale or on clearance. And I think I saw a photo of, what's the new one? The new movie that's coming out, Shang-Chi. That merchandise is already on. It's already on sale. It's already on clearance. Because they know that they're putting out trash and that we're not going to buy any of the fucking merchandise. And I'm a huge purchase. I love purchasing statues and toys, and I haven't gotten anything from Disney in a long time. From Star Wars in a long time.
Well, it's funny that you mention. It's funny that you mention how the money is so important to them, but yet when we continue to walk away in droves, as people start to realize what they're actually doing to their beloved franchises, I don't see how the money can keep rolling in. But it's I don't know. It comes down to, I suppose, respecting the law.
Disney. Not only that, but they treat the actual fans of the franchise like shit. Like they treat them like even on Twitter they treat you like shit, or they block you. I'm blocked by so many people that work at Lucasfilm. Like they just block you on Twitter. Yeah.
If you've written a Marvel comic in the past 5 years, you've probably blocked me because I've said, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Oh my God!
This is the thing.
Just because you call them out and you say like this isn't right, what you're doing is wrong, or what you're putting out is awful, what you're putting out is trash. This makes no sense. They block you. They don't want to hear it. They want to stay within their circle of yes people. Like, oh my gosh, you're doing so great.
Not even just like their budgets and how that they do things with merchandise, but I think of like with their characters and like what they're putting into their movies, and like I'm looking at the headpieces pieces, the hair pieces, wardrobe and makeup. And I'm just like, I know you guys have $1 million budgets. Like, I think of like a perfect person is Asuka. And when in Mandalorian, it's just like, I looked at her and I looked at her costume, I looked at her headpiece, and I was just like, if you look at the special effects makeup, it's literally, first off, they're way too short. And
Yeah.
and she said, I can't do it because they get in the way of my stunt work. And I'm just like, you know, I feel like if you had somebody working from the Mortal Kombat set, like, yeah, they're acting as shit, but their stunt work is amazing. I think that's a trash answer for you to go ahead and like throw away the depicted character and what she's supposed to look like because it's too hard for you. And then their shortened little cowl that they had on her head, like it was literally flaking off and like you could see the cracks in the piece.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, do you not think we won't notice that? I'm like,
Yeah.
this was trash. Like, one of the most important characters in the fucking Clone Wars, and you go ahead and bring her in here, and now you're actually going to go ahead and bring her to life, and she fucking looks like dog shit.
Raging.
You don't think we're not going to notice?
Oh, people did notice. People did
This
notice.
one, he was on it pretty early.
Yeah.
He was on it very early.
Like, but seriously, I'm just like, all of a sudden you're gonna have this badass motherfucking character. You're gonna finally bring her in. Like, she's super fucking important, and her entire costume and her headpiece, and like she just looks like dog shit. I really don't know what else to say.
Mhm.
And it's just like, but this can, like, a lot of the characters in the costumes, like, you can go ahead and break apart what that they look like and be like, no, there's still things going wrong, but it doesn't make any sense because Axel's not given $1 million budget. He's not given a Hollywood type budget. Man, if he was, whoa, like I couldn't even like, oh my god, it would be insane, you know, but knowing with what he's already given and what he's producing is already so much more like the comic books, and he makes sure everything's perfect. Our seamstress literally stays on set. She is the sweetest human being on this fucking planet, and I love her so much. And she sits there on set and she watches our costumes. She watches how they move. She makes sure that nothing comes up, nothing moves. She will literally run in just for like one part of the scene. Let's say like I have to do something and like I'm turning a certain way, and you can go ahead and see like a flap or a folder somewhere. She will literally come in and literally sew that costume right then and there, just for that part, and then run off. And then as soon as that part is over, she'll run back in and like unhook it and, you know, do whatever it is that she needs to do so it goes back to normal. Like, no matter what, like, we have somebody there to make sure that hair, like, we have our hair and makeup artist, so she's there on the side waiting and looking and being like, okay, everything looks perfect, coming in with a hairspray, little brush, whatever makeup she needs to do. And then we have the seamstress on the side as well. And then we have the rest of our team making sure that everything else is perfect. Like, we have people like, you know, watching like hawks to make sure that things need to look the way that they need to look. It's that important to everybody.
Well,
That's
speaking of
amazing, the care that you take. And then you see, you know, something like Ahsoka on, something like this. Whenever I see
you
something,
can literally see it. Oh my god! Right? You can literally see
the
where
ripple,
it's
the
cracking.
wrinkles in it.
whenever
yeah.
I see something like this, I'm always like, it looks like they're on a stage. It looks like they're doing like a stage play, like a Broadway show. And I compare it to that because I'm just like, they're given huge budgets, and it looks like I'm watching a stage play. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? When it's like such huge budgets and like the costumes don't look, they don't look great. So I'm just like, gosh, come on.
Sorry, Steph. I'm far from a Ahsoka fan. I don't like the
you
Clone
are.
Wars. Clone Wars very much contradicts the stuff that I like within Star Wars. But I can tell you right now that look how short it is. I mean, look at that.
Look how short it is. That's what I'm saying.
The folds,
right
yes, the
folds,
folds just bug the crap out of me. Those folds are awful.
Oh, that is just so bad. And I know what type of FX makeup artists that they have. They have the best. Like, it's just like, I don't know if anybody watches Face Off or anything, but they have like a few people there from Face Off, I believe. So it's just like, I know that the people that they have working on these sets can do their job. Like, I know that they can do better work than this. And I'm just questioning, and I'm just like, why did you do this? Or did you think because you're going to bring this big character in who a lot of people are, you know, that people are like, oh, we're waiting to see these characters. Maybe I am a really big Clone Wars fan, and I've been waiting for this moment to finally see, you know, a real life person play this character. And I think that's what that they were just like, well, we're just gonna drop her in, and no matter what, they're absolutely just gonna love her. Like they're just gonna love her because we brought her in, and it doesn't matter how badly that we fuck up on this character because she's a new character who we brought into the series. You know.
I mean, you said it earlier. They'll give you trash, and they'll expect you to love it. They expect you to buy it and consume it. You know, and that's pretty much what this is. They're just like, oh my gosh. Well, it doesn't matter what she looks like, they're going to love her.
Coming back around to what you were saying a little bit earlier, Steph, in regards to, you know, the criticism that we give to, let's say, Star Wars, the sequels, the criticisms that we give to some of the Marvel stuff, the criticisms that we give out there, and the response that we get back from those people creating it is that you're either a sexist, you're a racist, you're if you want to respect law, that now makes you a racist, you know, and all this kind of stuff. It's just ridiculous. I feel like, though, as unoften as it's happened, you know, if Axel was to get some criticism, or if you were to get some criticism, you would probably take that more on board, and then like, okay, so if there's something that I do need to fix, then okay, you sort of start to fix that up, but you would never sort of go after the fans in that way, and it's such a contrast. It's like, okay, the porn industry is more respectful to the fans. I'm wrong. Yeah. Well, I don't know. But I don't know. It just seems to me that, you know, these people that are respecting the law in the porn industry are more respectful to the fans than these big Hollywood budgets being able to make these massive movies that, you know, as soon as you criticize them, it's like, ah.
That's because whether people want to believe it or not, porn is for the fans. What we do is for our consumers. We are there to be there for people. We are there to help people. Like, I mean, a lot of people will go ahead and look at this industry and be like, oh, it's just porn. It's just a whole bunch of sluts just getting fucked. And it's like, you can go ahead and look at it that way. But at the end of the day, what I'm doing, like, I used to work over at the brothel. I was helping real life people go ahead and have intimacy and connection and teach them education in person. And then that's exactly what I do in porn. The porn that I put out for the world is to make people happy, not to make them feel controversial. I'm not trying to put them in sticky situations. I want them to go ahead and have a moment of release and then leave the internet and go live your life. The thing is with these other, with like Disney and Marvel and all these other companies doing what that they're doing, that's not what that they're trying to do. They're not like, we want to give you something really good, and then after you're, you know, and then after you're satisfied, you can go ahead and move on with your day. No, instead they're trying to trap you with all these different merchandise, toys, with all these DVD or movies and TV shows, and they're just trying to pull you in for that quick money. Yeah, it's just like, we're not trying for the quick money. We're trying to look for the right money, something that we actually feel good about. We're putting out something for the fans, and it's just like, we are trying to help them and give them a very satisfying moment and expecting nothing else in return except for, please pay for your porn, because nobody pays for their porn, and that is our only request. Please respect me and pay for my porn, and I will give you everything that you desire.
How has internet, like all that type of stuff with piracy and everything, because obviously anything can be pirated. So is there like a way, the industry? Yeah, is there like a way to combat it in a way?
Kind of yes, kind of no. For me, the thing is like, I'm in porn because I wanted to be here. I put myself here, and I'm not out here being like, I'm only going to do a limited certain type of videos and then I'm done, you know? So it's not really that way for me. After I put out a video, I get as much traffic, and, you know, because like when I work for a mainstream set, I get paid a rate, and that's it. So I sign all my rights away to the video. They pay me a rate, and that is that. My life is very simple. So I'm not really worried about any of that stuff because I was already paid a rate, and I hope to get as much traffic as possible. Now, for the videos and for the content that I'm creating on my own, generally after 24 hours, I expect it to show up online somewhere for free. So I only really take that 24 hours. Like, I'll try to continue to sell it for the week, for the rest of the week, or for the rest of the month. But most of the time it ends up getting put up for free. It's porn. I'll make another one. I'm not just suddenly going to turn into prude and be like, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't do that. You know, oh, they gave away my video for free. Why would they do that? Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I try not to be too crazy about it and just kind of be like, this is the day and age that we live in. And I can't ask people for respect. I can't demand respect because that's just going to make people want to go ahead and put out my content more for free. They're going to be like, fuck that slut. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy all of her videos and I'm going to post it for free. You know, whenever I'm just like, no, everybody should be paying for it. And everybody, oh, you shouldn't be doing this. And oh, I'm going to come after you for posting my video. I don't care. I don't give people like that power. I just make a new one and it's a win-win. I have another orgasm. I have another movie and I get another payout. My life is so hard.
Now, speaking of orgasms, really quickly, I have a quick question. Now, you were talking about like I was on set for like 18 hours. Have you ever had to fake one?
Yes. Yeah. So the thing
how much of it is acting and how much of it is real? I know I'm going to ruin it for the chat. So sorry, but I really want to know.
It's okay. I would say that it's 50-50 because at the end of the day, the guy only gets to come once. You know what I mean? So it's just like the guy only gets to come once. So we got to fill the rest of the space with a lot of orgasms. So I would say on sets, we're probably authentically, I mean, some girls, it's really easy for them to orgasm. For me, I'm kind of 1 to 2 max. And I'm kind of 1 to 2 max. But here's the thing in porn. A lot of men cannot tell when a woman is having an orgasm no matter fucking what. And so we have to vocalize it. We do. We have to vocalize it. Otherwise, they're like, I think she may be coming. She's she looks like she's sweating. All I see is she said it. She is coming. She said it.
Oh God! Now I'm starting to doubt.
And so we can fill in that space. You know what I mean? And it could be really boring. So we're performers at the end of the day. We're sex workers, but we're also performers. We're not at the brothel. We're not at the strip club. We're not at cam. So when we're creating a porno, you know, there could be one position I do not come at all. But for the fans, how boring is that for you if I just go ahead and write out the position and be like, oh yeah, that feels good the entire time, because it does feel good, but it's the position after that truly, like, I got the warm up with the one position and now I'm actually able to come with the second position. But why am I going to waste the opportunity in the first position to, like, you know, not give the fans a little bit of yumminess? Because what I want the fans to do, let's say it's a 25-minute long video, by 7 minutes, I already want my fan to come. I need him to come in that first 7 minutes because he will go ahead and watch the next part of the video, you know, the next day and only make it another 7 minutes through. So now he's at 14 minutes. So now I put him at another 7 minutes the next following day. He's able to watch that video 3 days in a row because he was never able to get through it the first 2 days. And that is why we do that. We're performers. Like, there's a little bit of business that goes with it. But are we authentically coming on camera? Yes, we are. But if we're doing 10 positions, are we authentically coming in every single 10 position or even twice in that position? Probably not, but that's because we're performers. We're here to make you come. We're here to make you have an enjoyable time, and I'm not going to leave you hanging and expect you to do it on your own. So I am your helping hand.
That's cool. Nicely put.
I thought I was pretty clever with the whole, I can use this video 3 times. I thought I was pretty clever. They're onto us.
That's exactly it. And you're being a bargain.
So with everything that's happened with COVID, and how has it been sort of adapting for you? We obviously spoke to, again, Kenzie and Seth about this sort of thing, but how has it been adapting for you, and has that enhanced your own independent videos in that aspect too? Like, has that sort of helped you out with your own stuff?
So, unpopular opinion, I loved COVID because I got to play so many more games. I got to I got to spend so much more time at home. And so I actually really loved it because I never had an OnlyFans before COVID because I was so busy working. I was working anywhere from like 10 to 15 shoots a month. And my shoots were long days, anywhere from 6 to 12 hours. So you have 15 days of working. And then each day in between, I basically like died and like just like slept in bed all day. And so I never had time to do any of that. So when COVID hit and when all shoots were put to a halt, because I'm with Spiegler Agency, and it's one of the most prestigious agencies in this industry. And so it's just like our schedules are intense, very intense scenes and very intense schedules. So I was finally able to actually create my OnlyFans, and that was phenomenal for me because I skyrocketed myself into a whole new, like my financial gain was tremendous because of COVID. And I didn't realize like how powerful and how grand my brand is until COVID hit. And I was like, holy shit, girl. I was like, you got some power. And and it made me feel so good because now if there's a shoot or a scene that I don't really want to work, it's just because maybe I know that they're not the best company, or maybe they're not the best talent, or, you know, I'm not going to have an enjoyable time, I now get to turn away those bookings and only work these higher class bookings such as Black Widow. And I get to designate my time doing the content that I want to do, the people who I personally want to work with. And I'm really just, I mean, and especially like currently in 2021, I'm putting out probably some of the proudest work that I've ever done in my entire career. Like, this is really what COVID was able to do for me and gave me a lot of, like, it threw away a lot of my insecurities. I used to be very, very, very insecure before, and I felt like I had to be a people pleaser, and I felt like I had to do these things to go ahead and appease the people around me to go ahead and further my bookings and to be able to get the things that I wanted, like Black Widow. But that wasn't true at all. I already had that power, and all that I had to do was finally, basically, like, I became debt free and be able to have a substantial savings, and I was able to create that and do that in this room right fucking here. And it's a very powerful and beautiful thing. So I love COVID, and it helped me out tremendously. I know it hurt a lot of people, but I really like all that I try to do. Yeah, it's just like, I know it hurt a lot of people, but like for me, it's just like I made sure to go live all the time free. I made sure to join my fans and like be with them just all the time, because a lot of them were really struggling. So instead of, you know, being like, oh, I'm doing amazing and oh, I'm going to go out shopping and doing this, like, no, I never did any of that. I just stayed at home and just stayed with my fans. It was like, you don't have to be alone. I'm here with you. And because of that, and when COVID started clearing back up and everybody started going back to work, all my fans came back and was just like, hey, you helped me so much, so here's a gift for you. And their gifts were just over the moon. Like, my fans take care of me, and I've never been more grateful.
Speaking of which, do you have that thing that you showed me this morning?
I have lots of toys. I brought all my toys. So I had a fan that sent me this amazing figure.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so because he told me that all of them look like Scar Joe, so this was the one that, you know, looked the most like me. And what I love about this figure, so I'm trying to like not to catch the light. What I love about this figure the most is, especially with her hair with the little bump in the back, like this is some good shit. This is kind of what I'm gonna look like, kinda.
Oh.
Kinda. Except for we're gonna go just a little bit more 80s. If you know the comic books, then we're gonna be a little bit more 80s. But I brought some of my other cool stuff that I wanted to show you guys, because I never get to show off my nerd toys. I wanted to show you guys my Elder Wand.
That's for you, Steph. We love that.
I love my little Elder Wand. And so this is really special to me because my grandmother passed away, and she would take me out to the movie theaters every time that there was a new Harry Potter, because she knew how much it meant to me. And we would go out to the IMAX theaters, or just like one of like the fanciest theaters that she could take us to. And we would always have like the best seats, and we would just watch the Harry Potter movies together. Even though she didn't really like the Harry Potter movies, she knew that that I love them. And so it was like a mission for her that every time that they would come out, we would always go and see it. But she passed away a couple years ago of vaginal cancer.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, so I had a fan that actually sent me this because I talked about the story, and he mailed me this and said, I thought that you might really like this, and it completely put me in tears. And he was just like, thank you. That's what I mean. Like, when I say that they listen and care about me so much, this is a perfect example. Like, if my fans listen to the stories and things that I tell them and give me the most amazing gifts that actually mean something. So this is one of the cool ones, but I have the same fan got me. I have my smuggler's dice.
Oh, no shit. You don't have
how
them
many-
on your car?
I keep them in the box right now because I don't want to, because it's like I'm planning on moving here soon, so I don't want to lose anything. And then
What's that?
it's from the
That's
New
the medal.
Hope. It's
That's the medal.
Oh, it's the
Lady
medal.
Yeah, that's
One
the
and
medal.
Oh, no shit.
That's
That's pretty cool.
awesome.
I'm like, it's the medal from A New Hope.
No shit.
Yeah.
I've never seen that in that box before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. It is super cool. And then I also have
I didn't even know they sold those.
my sabers.
Oh, hell
who we
yeah.
got there? Did I see a Qui-Gon? I think I saw a Luke.
Mm-hmm. And a Vader?
So, and I have the other
Why?
end of Mauls because it's the
Oh.
long one, but it won't
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah.
How dare
Rhino
you have
has
more
them all.
lightsabers than me?
So
That's
These are
awesome.
my toys, and I love them.
Mhm.
And I tend to put my sabers up my vagina for content. They're great. They're nice and smooth. They're nice and smooth. They fit real
Out of
easy.
fucking nowhere.
to be fair, that's more than Disney did with Luke's saber. And
Yeah, they threw that one away.
Yeah, they threw it away. At least you're getting a use out of it.
I
Poor
literally, I did a scene where, because I have my squadron's helmet inside my room, and I did the scene, and I got a facial right over like the lenses of the helmet, and and so I put the helmet back on the thing, and I was like, I'm gonna clean it later, and the cum literally dried on the
Oh my
lens.
God.
So I'm just like, I think I just might keep it that way. I might just Mod Podge over it.
Oh
I might just Mod Podge over it and go ahead and like keep it for life as like a little gift.
Oh wow, that's
Have-
that's
Nerdy and
original.
dirty.
There you
So
go.
Speaking of like obviously the lightsabers and everything, what's the weirdest thing like request that somebody's asked you to do?
Like sticking with like the whole like comic theme and everything, or just the weirdest
Yeah.
thing that somebody has asked me?
Just the weirdest thing.
Oh, it's the
Weirdest thing.
Okay, so one of the weirdest things I got asked was this guy sent me a $5 tip, right? And he goes, I want to order a custom from you. And I said, okay, shoot. He goes, I want you to use this $5 and go to Walmart and buy as many goldfish as possible. And I was like, and then he goes, you should be able to buy about a dozen of them or so. They're pretty cheap, about 10 cents per fish. And then I go, what the fuck? And he goes, yeah, I want you to go ahead and for 1 minute swallow as many goldfish as possible. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm just like, no, I don't think I'm interested in this. And I'm just like, this is kind of crazy. And then he sends me videos of other girls doing it. Big names in
Weird.
the industry. I will not tell who, but girls that I was like, no way. No way. And then I even had this other guy, and I don't know if it was the same exact guy, but I feel like this is blackmail content to me. And this other person was like, how much do I have to pay you to poop? And I want to watch you poop in the video, and your face has to be in it. And then he also sent me videos of other girls doing it. girls that I knew, girls in my
Like,
age.
these girls are doing it. There's nothing wrong. You can do it
It's like, if these girls are doing it, why won't you do it? And I'm just like, this looks like blackmail content. Like, this is like suddenly, all of a sudden, like I pissed somebody off, and then all of a sudden this video just pops up on the internet. I'm just like, no, I'm not eating real goldfish for $5 fucking. I'm like, thank you for your time, sir.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Jesus. And then this other person was like, I'll pay you $1,000 for me to watch you take a shit. And I'm like, no, this is not happening, dude.
Wow. I mean, everyone has their kinks, but there's a line. There's a line. I mean,
There's a line.
oh my gosh.
Have you ever had any sort of moments in public with fans or anything like that?
Yeah,
Any awkward situations?
Yeah, all the time. I think now that I'm in porn, a lot of people don't really like come up to me too often anymore. But when I was back at the brothel, I had people coming up to me left and right out in public. And it's no issue at all. Like, as long as you do it respectfully, like, as if you can tell I'm not with family, I'm not with my partner, I'm just walking, you know, just at the grocery store, or at the mall, or at the park, it doesn't really matter. I have people stop me all the time and be like, hey, are you Lacey? And I'm like, hey, what's up? Yes, I am. They're like, could I, get a quick picture or something? Or a lot of them won't even ask for pictures. A lot of them are just like, can I talk to you for like a second? And I'm just like, yeah, of course. I'm just like, what's up? What's going on? And like, they tell me like, oh, I'm a big fan and I'm this and I'm that. I'm like, that's amazing. And I'm like, do you want a picture? And they're like, girlfriend wouldn't like that, but it's so crazy that I got to meet you. And I'm just like, well, there we have it. I'm just like, I hope you have a great day. And it's really as simple as that. I love meeting fans and I love meeting people. That's why I worked at the brothel. And then I love going to AVN and XBiz for signing. I'm going to be at the Exoticas later this year or two for more meet and greets with fans. So I love meeting people. I'm all about it.
Where's that at?
Exotica, the two that I'm going to specifically is Miami, Florida, and that'll be in September, and then New Jersey in October.
Cool. Yep.
America.
One thing that I found very interesting about Black Widow is the fact that it comes out the same day as the Disney one. Now, obviously, that was done on purpose, right? Oh, yeah. yeah. Was that something that was always planned to be, or did like the stars kind of align? So even if it got delayed again, Axel would have delayed his.
I think so.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool.
I think so. And it's just like, and I only say that because it's the best thing to do on a business level, marketing, and to do with traffic. That is literally the smartest thing to do, because there's going to be so many people looking up Black Widow that it's just like, that's already the keyword. You know what I mean? And if somebody saw the regular Black Widow and then all of a sudden they got news later that night and they watched ScarJo, and then they watch, Yelena, and like they're watching this movie and they're like, man, they were kind of hot. I wish they had a little bit more action. Axel goes, ding, ding, ding. He's like, hey, what's up? I think I have a remedy for you. Here's my movie. And so it ends up being perfect because people are going to be unsatisfied with the regular Black Widow. So they can go watch the regular Black Widow, be unsatisfied, and then he has his movie to go ahead and fill up anybody who is completely unsatisfied. It's literally the perfect thing to do. Like, it's
smart. It's very smart. Yeah.
Well, it's like you do what the best are doing already. So it's just like, if the best is being released on this day, well, then you want to be the best as well. You just do the same exact thing. It's a fail-proof concept.
Yeah, I guess. How are you feeling about the ScarJo Black Widow movie? Because I think she should have had her movie years ago. I quite like her as Black Widow.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit... There's not much MCU content coming out that I'm actually interested in, but this one I am curious, mostly because it's ScarJo. But how are you feeling about it?
That was something that I had told to Axel as a joke, and I was just like, Axel, can I put in my own lines in the movie? And he's like, no. And I was just like, all right. And I said, can I tell you the line if I got to put a line in the movie? And he was like, sure, go for it. And I was like, how the fuck did Captain Marvel get a movie before me? Like, how?
Yeah.
How? How? Whose dick did she suck? Like, are
John
you
Favreau's.
kidding me?
Wait,
Like, are you kidding me? And so
That would have been great to have in there.
I know. So it's just like, no, I'm just like, I forgot the question now. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But yeah, no, I think that I'm very excited because I am a big ScarJo fan. I do like her as Black Widow as well. And that was kind of like a big thing for me, is just like, I never like want, because I told Axel, I said it's like my biggest fear on this planet to be blocked on social media, be blocked on social media by ScarJo, because like I am such a fan of her. I think she's beautiful. I think that she's a bad bitch. Like she is the complete opposite of what a Gwyneth Paltrow is. You know what I mean?
oh, that's going to be clipped.
One of your candles coming out.
Like, she's the complete opposite. She's not, it's just like with the whole like Me Too movement and all the craziness that happened in life. It's just like, no, like ScarJo is a person who worked her way up. She was on Broadway. She was performing live for people. Like, she worked really hard to be where she is, and like the roles that she does, like she commits to them, and I really just have a lot of respect for her. And there's a lot of diversity within her roles as well, which I really enjoy. Now, I will say that with the Disney movies and Black Widow, I think a lot of her character and her appearance, you could tell that she was working on other movies at the time, and I think like she would step away from like the whole Black Widow character, because again, you could tell she was more focused on these other roles in these different movies. But I also feel like Marvel never really ever gave her the justice. I feel like I feel like they made her, oh, you're just beautiful, so we'll just look at you. You don't need very many lines. You don't need to do too much. We'll have you kick a little bit of ass, and we'll have you do a hair flip, and that's good enough for you. Oh, and this one, we'll go ahead and have you die, because, everybody was longing more for you, and they wanted to see more. So we'll just kill you off, because then they'll miss you. Like, it's just like, I feel like they never really did her like true justice for her character and what she's able to uphold within, and like what she's able to give within her acting and her experience and who she is as a person. So I was very excited to see like when Black Widow was originally coming out and everything. Like, I was like, oh, finally, that she finally gets a movie. It's not like she hasn't fucking earned it, and somehow we have all these new characters that just pop up out of nowhere, and now they have their own movie before her that doesn't make any sense. Then watch the fucking trailer and was like, I'm bored right now. Like, I mean, she's beautiful and I have so much love for her, but the trailer was fucking boring, and I really don't even understand where they're trying to go with it and what that they're trying to do, other than having ScarJo and then the woman that's playing Yelena. Like, yeah, they both look super fucking hot. Taskmaster is a complete mess. And honestly, did I really even notice anybody else in the film? No. I saw Michael Bay, like little explosions, cars flipping, oh, somebody jumping down in the power pose. And I'm just like, wow, you guys are boring. You guys are really fucking boring. I'm just like, and I don't think that they're going to give ScarJo the justice that she deserves. Like, she is absolutely phenomenal, and she is a queen in Hollywood. I love her, and I just feel like the Hollywood keeps failing her.
I mean, another thing is,
her movie should have come out after Winter Soldier. Oh,
absolutely. I mean, like the fact that her character's already dead.
She's gonna throw away all her relationships too. She's just this lonely being, and then suddenly, has like some sort of like romance with Hulk, and then has some sort of romance a little bit, like you could tell that maybe Hawkeye might have cheated on his wife with Black Widow a little bit. I was like, yeah, you guys are fondling in the back. Oh, you're late to your mission.
Possible spoilers. No.
Late to your mission. And I'm just like, but what about all the other relationships that she had? And like, these things were really important, for all these different characters, and they completely bypassed all of it. And like I said, Disney, for some reason, I feel like they make a lot of their characters heartless. They make no love, no heart, no compassion, and then suddenly it just pops up out of nowhere. And it's just like, I like at the end when Black Widow, when she dies or whatever, and like the compassion and love and the friendship that was happening like with her and Hawkeye. And I'm just like, where are these moments that she deserved movies ago? Not right now, right before it's just like you're gonna
kill her off.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you guys doing? There's so much that you guys could have expanded on and things that people would have really, really loved. And I'm just like, and they skipped over it. And I feel like they do that to a lot of female characters in general. Like
Black Widow, I feel kind of got ripped off because she had some of the best fight scenes throughout the whole thing. But I don't know. It's just kind of like they never really knew what they wanted to do. It's just like, we got to have her here, but we just don't know what to do with her. But I think the fact that she's already dead, it's like, well, why should I care about this movie? I know how it ends.
It's not like she's like one of the oldest female comic book characters. It's not like they didn't have any material to work on. Like, holy fuck.
Well,
like, what a hard one.
Yeah, see, I think we should have at least got it after Age of Ultron, when she got the thing, like the mind thing done to her, and we sort of saw a little bit of her backstory in that, you know, when they're all tripping out. And it should have at least come after that. Like, it's so late now. There's no stakes anymore. You know, if we're going to a prequel before what we've seen, well, it takes away a lot of the suspense, I suppose, the suspenseful moments.
Yeah,
but yeah,
because we know she lives and then she dies later, so it's kind of like, well, I don't really care. And that would have been a good time to have it, because you know that ballet school, I was just kind of like, what is that?
Yeah,
what on earth is that in her past? So it would have been a good place for this movie. But yeah, it's way too late for Captain Marvel, for Black Widow, and it's just like, ugh. I really don't care. I don't care. It's for me. It was like, well, MCU's done with Endgame. Everything else from here on out is going to be, which is true. I mean, I really didn't like Winter Soldier and Falcon. I don't like the Loki so far.
WandaVision wasn't great.
WandaVision wasn't great at all. I just did not like that show. So it's just kind of like, why am I still watching this crap?
At least we'll have some good Marvel stuff.
Because we're fans. Because we have to. We literally, and I'm just like, fuck you, Marvel. Like, fuck you, Disney. Like, God damn it, because we are gonna get to a point like where we're not gonna watch it anymore. When we are gonna move on, and where we're gonna be like, all right, it's kind of like, you know, like cartoons, and you know the cartoons that we grew up on as kids. And now they're no longer here, and they have new cartoons, but they're done by the same producers and animators. But I refuse to watch them because I'm just like, this isn't what, you know, I grew up on, you know what I mean? And it's just like, this isn't what I'm used to. And this was something that I loved as a kid, and I'm going to grow up and I'm going to move on from it, because you guys aren't able, you know, to create the nostalgia that you guys once created. It's just like, and I'm not going to be wasting my time and my money just because I used to be a fan. And I have these expectations that, you know, and I'm longing, and I'm having these high hopes and expectations that it is going to end up being amazing, all just to, you know, watch it and be like, that was a waste of time. That was like, oh my God, did you guys watch the Zack Snyder Justice League?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
So good. I got super shroomed out. I got super shroomed out and laid in bed with all of my snacks, and just for almost 5 hours, just the movie was 3D. Like, it was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was just like, this is it. This is the movie.
That's awesome.
See, we were talking earlier about like directors and their passion projects, and I feel like that's what this kind of was, because they just completely ruined it with the first version that they put out. And you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's like, here, this is it. This is what I wanted for you guys. And that's, you know, that's how I feel like the Snyder Cut what the Snyder Cut is.
I feel like Snyder and Axel could be friends.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I feel like they'd be like the best of friends.
when we had Axel on, we're talking, because this was before the Snyder Cut came out, and we're talking a little bit about it, and he was saying he was very interested to see how it all came out and how it was pretty fucked up, how like movie executives or whatever can just completely destroy someone's vision and then just throw out whatever the fuck that movie was that came out in 2017.
Yeah.
But you mentioned before that you've been playing a lot more video games since lockdowns and all that. So what have you been playing lately? What do you play on? PlayStation, PC, Xbox?
I play on my Mac, so my Mac games are really boring, and I play Sims and I play Toontown on my Mac. Then on my PlayStation 4, I play COD, I play Battlefront, I play Squadrons, I play Horizon Zero Dawn, I play Spyro, I play Kingdom of Hearts. That is like one of like. I love Kingdom. It's like my happy place. It is my. I have Sora was my crush, my childhood crush. Like it was Danny Phantom, and fucking Sora. I was just like, I think these might be my dream men, and I'm just like, I don't know if this is obtainable. And then I slowly started transitioning to humans, and that's when I fell in love with you. I always got weird feelings because I was like, is Sora a boy or a girl? And I'm just like, maybe I'm pansexual. It doesn't matter to me.
Whatever
it
she is.
doesn't matter to me. I had all these weird feelings as like a little kid, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm just like, I can't tell if these characters are boys or girls, and I'm just like, but I still like them. I fuck them.
Kingdom Hearts is like my favorite video game franchise of all time.
And then I also play on my phone. I play COD Mobile, and then on my Switch, I'm a big Pokemon fan. I love Pokemon.
This is my favorite Kingdom Hearts character, Aqua.
Oh yes,
She's
I love
adorable.
the music in Kingdom of
Oh,
Hearts.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Like I can just sit there and just listen to it all day. It like puts me in my feelings, yet uplifts me and makes me like want to go do something like amazing. You know, it's just like I feel like I'm all down in the dumps, and I'm like I'm the underdog. And then like towards the end of the song, I'm like I can do this. It's like every anime ever.
Yeah. What have you been watching anime-wise lately?
I am watching currently at this exact moment just because like I feel like I finished up so many things. I'm still watching Boruto, and then I'm also watching My Hero Academia. I'm on pause for Black Clover, on pause for Attack on Titan, on pause for Dr. Stone. And yeah, because I got caught up on Dr. Stone, and then I'm currently, because like I'm all caught up, and I just finished Death Parade. And so because of that, I'm starting to rewatch Naruto right now. So I love it.
What about redo of Healer?
Seeing Naruto, seeing all the adults grow up in Boruto, I'm just like...
Attack on Titan, though. I think that's like the best show.
I'm just like, I would do that town dirty if I moved into the Leaf Village.
Who's your favorite Attack on Titan character?
Oh, definitely Eren.
I didn't like Eren until season 4. When he went psycho, I'm like, yeah, now I like him.
I love him, and his little trench coat with nothing underneath it. I'm like, grow in me.
I know.
Grow in me, Eren. I'm like,
One sec.
Back inside me and fight.
we can get Eren, Jaeger.
I'm like, that boy is so fine, and he's so goddamn crazy. I am like, oh yes, I love it. I'm just like the whole build up on the entire show. I'm just like, I love it because they always go from these annoying little tiny, boys, basically, no muscles, no hope. Like they're the people that you're just like, you're gonna be worthless. And then the anime glow ups every single time. I'm just like, you are killing me. I'm just like, these are unrealistic expectations for the real world. I'm just like, I can't live in the real world. I'm just disappointed.
There he is. There's your guy. To be fair, I say the same thing about anime girls all the time. I'll see like an anime girl, and then I'll see like a girl that I like or whatever, and I'm like, I'm sorry, like it's just.
That's exactly how it is. No, because I think of like Seven Deadly Sins with Elizabeth, and I'm just like, there's no hope. There is no hope for women. I'm just like, all these, his glow up is amazing. Like the women in anime are just my absolute favorite as well. Like I don't know, I just love anime, and I love how well that they take care of their characters. You can tell how much that they care. That's something that a lot of people, I feel like they look at animation and anime and they don't realize the amount of work that goes in it, like the amount of artistry and how long it takes them, to do these things. Like I was just watching something that was going over the movies, and it's just like, when editors are working on these frames, it can take them months to years to just produce a minute of a clip. So they have all these little busy working bees, and everybody's working on literally only 1 minute at a time, and it takes forever. Like there's just so much that goes into it, and it's absolutely beautiful to me. They care so much about their stories, they care so much about their arcs. It's just like it all makes sense. Everything makes sense, and it's just like how the strategy. So like a good example is Code Geass.
Yep.
Like Code Geass with their strategy and everything that they did, until you watch that final episode, you go, holy shit, this all makes sense now. And like all of a sudden, like for Lelouch, your heart just pours out for him towards the end of it, and you were a Byronic hero. You were trying to be this evil being, and you were trying to like to prove this point and to create all this chaos, only to at the end be killed off and create peace.
Like it's almost like you're saying that lore and continuity matter.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Have you seen the Demon Slayer movie?
I have not. That's one I haven't touched yet. So I started watching it, and I could not okay, so when you watch something and after you're done watching it, you have no clue what you watched.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally, I think it's just like sometimes I watch so much anime that I have to take a break for a little bit, because it's just like I start watching something and I'll watch 3 episodes and then I will go ahead and be like, I have no fucking clue what I just watched. And so it's just like, I think that's what's happening, because that's what happened with Black Clover. I was not interested in Black Clover at all. I waited a few months later, and now I'm obsessed with Black Clover. Got completely caught up and completely obsessed with it. So I sometimes just give things a little bit of a break, and then I try to go back and watch it just to make sure I comprehend, because I hate just watching things and being like, okay, I watched it. Like, no, I want to become obsessed.
Yeah.
I need to be invested, and I want to be obsessed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I highly recommend the Demon Slayer movie. Like, highly recommend. Best movie of the year so far, in my opinion. Even though technically it came out last year, but West, we only just got it this year. But chef kiss.
Well, I will watch it later today then.
Yeah, nice. I'll get a message when I'm in bed going, "You're right, the movie's so good."
I know. Don't worry, I'll tag you in it too. Or I'm gonna fuck with you and be like, it was awful.
Yeah, I'm like, she said what?
This was the worst movie ever. Lethal Lightning is a scam.
Oh no!
I'm just kidding.
Clipped. I love it.
Clipped. That's definitely clipped. I got one last, 2 questions actually, and then we'll start moving on to some of the things that Shanna said. But if you could play any character in any story whatsoever, but it can't be Black Widow, who would you pick?
So I don't know if Axel will be happy about this. But because my answer is there is nobody other than Black Widow, but also at the same exact time, a character who I really fell in love with as a young girl, because I did grow up pansexual, and I grew up, I did grow up with a religious community around me, and my family doesn't really understand or or they just don't understand, being bi, being gay, being pan. And so I went through a lot of struggles as a kid, and a character that meant a lot to me was Poison Ivy. And
I knew you were going to say that for some reason.
a character that meant so much to me was Poison Ivy, because she's beautiful, and it's just like her love and how much she took care of Harley, especially in Gotham City Sirens. It always melted my heart, and she knew that Harley was never going to love her. And, Harley did love her, but Harley also was obsessed with Mr. J. It's just like that was the dynamic. And so no matter what type of trouble Harley would get herself and put herself in, then Ivy was always there, you know, to help take care of her and to be there for her, and like would cuddle with her naked in the bathtub in the comic books, and like that was as close as to porn as I could get as a young kid. And so to be able to see these things like in the comic book, and because it's just like I naturally have auburn hair. My hair's colored right now for Black Widow, but my hair's naturally auburn. It's my eyebrows, so I don't know if you guys can tell, like they're a little bit lighter. Oh yeah, there we go. So that's my natural hair color on my eyebrows. But, and then here's my Black Widow hair. So you can kind of see, so I grew up and I hated my hair color, and it's just like, I felt very awkward about it. I had lots of freckles and very pale skin, and then my auburn hair, and all the girls back in the South were blondes. And so it's just like, they were all super tan, super blonde, blue eyes. And I wanted to fit in because they all had boyfriends, and it's just like, but I could never get a boyfriend. And I was really interested in girls, but all the girls were freaked out whenever I would say or do things like that. And so then I even started dating a guy and like forced myself to do it just because I just wanted to fit in. But I remember it's just like sitting, you know, down and reading these comic books and reading about Poison. And it's just like, I don't know. She's just somebody who I feel like I've always really connected with. And then like, I'm a really big, like outdoorsy, herb type of girl. It's just like, I love to go outdoors and kick off my shoes and be barefoot in the woods and the dirt and like climb trees barefoot and like get my scrapes and bumps. And like, I smoke
What's not a cat on shrooms?
Yeah. literally, there's my poison that like comes out of my hands. Like I'm screwing myself up. And so like I've always just been that type of person, and so I feel like I've really connected with her on a more emotional level on my softer side, but my harder side of who I am as a person and how blunt and straightforward and I don't take shit from anybody, I'm very much so Black Widow. But then when it comes to the softer side of who I am and more the romantic side, I definitely feel like Poison is my girl. I feel like we'd be really good friends.
And let's not forget the many explosive attacks she's done throughout Gotham City. That's always
that too. And then I think anybody else who I would really, I think like the other person, like if I weren't to be Black Widow and if I were to be another badass character, it would definitely be Mara Jade. Like it would definitely.
You just won a lot of people with that one. You just won a lot of people with that
Yeah, so it's just like Poison's my softer romantic side, and if I'm not going to be Black Widow, my harder side would definitely be Mara Jade because she's a badass. She's a badass bitch. Like, like double blaster. Like, fucking love that shit. I need to I want to get her outfit and I want to cosplay her so bad. And I talked to Axel about it. And so he made I don't want to give out any details, but he definitely talked about possible ideas in the future of maybe hitting Star Wars or maybe hitting DC or, maybe coming back and doing another Marvel rendition. So he has so many ideas out there, and I think he's truly inspired, especially with his current cast of people that he's working with, and he understands how dedicated we are to him and his projects because of his dedication. And so I think that he's really getting excited, and he's going to have a lot of lineups. He's got an amazing cast to work with and use us in any way that he wants.
If he did a Star Wars expanded universe parody, I think he might be the first person in the world to actually do that.
Yeah, it would be.
Give us a sequel trilogy worthy of Star Wars.
Yeah, give us a sequel trilogy.
Sequel trilogy, please. If you're going to give anyone a trilogy, don't give it to Rian Johnson. Give it to Axel.
Seriously.
My favorite Star Wars character was actually the one that killed Mara Jade, so that's a bit interesting there. Another thing we got here is, how would you describe the Black Widow movie, yours, in just one sentence?
How would I describe Black Widow in one sentence? The movie?
Yep.
It's got to be a good sentence. So it would be.
That's it. Time's up.
If I were to describe Black Widow XXX in one sentence, I simply have to say, you will be getting the movie that you deserve.
Sounds pretty good.
Nice.
That sounds pretty good.
We will like we're not gonna fail you. You will get exactly what you deserve. All of your expectations, we will surpass them. We are not gonna leave you hanging in any sort of way. And so whatever you expect, whatever it is that you want, we're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it even better than what you think that we're gonna do.
So not subvert expectations, surpass them. Yeah,
Definitely. I'm so proud of this movie and so proud of everything that we've done and like the script and just everything. Like it's amazing.
I'm keen. All right, let's catch up with some things in the chat. And thank you everybody for hanging out. We really do appreciate that. Normally we're a bit more interactive, but we figured we'll let Lacey do most of the talking tonight. So first up, we had Brightest Day. Thank you very much. He says, for my boys down under, keeping the ladies happy week after week. Well, we certainly try. Thank you very much, Brightest Day. And then Biggles. Biggles said, welcome to the Full Aussie, Lacey. Thank you.
Welcome.
Joe Froggo said, Lyndon is handsome. I tend to disagree, but each
Oh
their
my
own.
God.
Hey, Lacey, you need to flutter your eyes at Lyndon.
Oh,
for
yes.
us.
Yes,
that's
we'll
very
show
true.
you. We'll show you where this came from. I'll show you the clip where this came from.
Lyndon, do I have to bat my eyelashes at you? What's happening?
Actually, that might help.
Me?
I'm in the same spot. Oh. Okay.
What was I up to? And then Daniel, thank you very much, Daniel. She said, Daniel, he's very, very happy that you said pineapple belongs on pizza. He's very happy about that.
Pineapple Gang.
I agree. Thank you, Daniel. Reverend Alva says, Lethal's still not doing a hot tub stream. Maybe in the future.
It's in the Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch, you're on the wrong platform.
I also stream video games on Twitch, and ever since they added the category of hot tubs, doesn't matter what game I'm playing, I'm always going under the category of hot tub. So if you look up hot tub, you'll just find me sitting down playing Call of Duty or something.
I hate how they have the hot tub stream now, but they discriminate so hardcore against sex workers. Like you could be in a turtleneck and pants, and it's just like the girls can be on the hot tub streams. They can get completely blackout wasted, and they can go ahead and pass out in their streams, and it's just like it's fucking crazy. But a sex worker who's in a turtleneck and jeans will get kicked off no matter what.
It's a bit of a double standard, isn't it?
I was just about to ask you what you think of the hot tub streams, so boom, you answered it.
They're okay. I mean, it's just like, I'm all for people having fun and everything, but like the fun should be equal for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, our friend Drunk Freepio, thank you very much, sir. He wants to know, do you like candy corn?
Do I like candy corn?
Yep.
I love candy corn, actually.
Oh, there you go.
There
Just
you
10
go,
candy
Jay.
corn.
I grew
There
up
we go.
really poor, so candy corn is just another fancy way of eating plain sugar. So I'm just like, I got all the candy corn as a kid.
Nice. Diego says, all I will say to those comic haters is I raised with the last rodent. Yeah, that's a mature story. And that's Ninja Turtles as well. And that's a very mature story. So you've got a good point. Where are we at to? Jock Nerdy, he says, sorry, I'm late. No, you're all good. Open
Jock
air policy. My friend Tim taking a dig at Disney here, saying, so would Lacey be, is Lacey racist for knowing the law? That's a dig at
Yeah. That was after I made that comment.
That's a dig at Disney. I like that. Well, by Disney standards, well,
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone
where
on
am I
this
at?
panel is.
I'm like,
Red
oh no, am I going to get blocked?
Yeah, by Disney.
by Disney.
No.
It's okay. You joined the ranks of us.
Yeah.
Gotten
Hey,
blocked.
I thought the story sucks. They're blocked.
God damn it.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the
As
party.
long as
Carl.
I'm not blocked by Scar Joe, then I don't.
I think she would actually agree with us, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Red Gaze says, there's so much more class in the porn industry than in Hollywood. Lacey is lovely. Tip off the hat and the coin to you, brother. Hail this panel and hail the chat. Thank you so much, Red
Yes,
Gaze.
that's
Yeah,
something that
thank
I've
you, Red
noticed
Gaze.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, when we had, like, Kenzie on, I was like, wow, this woman's an actual fucking sweetheart. She's badass, but she's such a fucking sweetheart as well.
And Seth was awesome. That stream was a lot of fun. He was an
Oh,
Oh,
awesome
yeah,
yeah.
Seth was
talk
awesome
to.
too. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Seth said some
Axel was
things
awesome.
that stuck with me. I was like, that's some fucking wisdom in there.
Yeah.
Daniel says Axel's take on a true sequel trilogy could be cool. I think we deserve
Oh.
an actual sequel trilogy.
Please, Axel. Please,
Yes.
if you're watching, dude.
Give us a sequel.
Give us the
some Star
sequel
Wars.
trilogy.
Give us some Star.
Give us Lacey as Mara. As
Restore
it
my
should have
faith
been.
in Star Wars.
Seriously, oh, I'd be so happy if he did
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we also got sent this from Megatron, who's in the chat. He's a bit of an artist. He does art streams. And when he found out we were doing this, he decided to paint you as Black Widow.
Oh,
She was Black Widow. Thank you very much, Megatron.
nice.
Thank you, Megatron.
Did you guys see that they're doing the, what is it, Black Widow 2099, I think?
No.
She looks like
No.
Storm.
What? Really?
Yes, she looks like Storm. Let me make sure. Let me see. Yeah, because they're already putting out the art for it. Yeah, Black Widow.
399.
Let's see.
Oh my god. I think that's Storm.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
It's
It looks just
this
like
one.
Storm to me.
She looks like Storm, but this is the Black Widow, like 2099, and
open an
she's
image.
she looks like Storm.
What is?
Yeah, I
that?
don't-
I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, if I want Storm, I'll go to Storm. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Because I really like Storm, but when I want Black Widow, I'll go to Black Widow.
But this is her in the comic.
Sorry, where am I at? Yeah, see, that's just not Black Widow to me.
Yeah, well, guess what? I'm already telling you guys they're moving on. I feel like after the Black Widow movie, and because they already killed her off, I think that they're just gonna move on.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of bums me out.
Yeah, that's
It
shame.
does,
Like,
doesn't yeah, it is a bummer. It's
just-
really ridiculous because they had something so good on their hands after the 10 years of movies that they gave us. Yeah, Endgame, I feel like it had its flaws, and they're sort of playing around with those flaws a little bit now in some of the series that they're doing, but it's, I don't know, it's not great. They had so much to work with. They had so much potential.
Yeah. dude.
Yeah,
I
you know-
didn't see that until just
You
then.
know what confuses me is with all of like the little like stones and time stones and everything with the infinity. What confuses me is what was it at the end of like X-Men or Deadpool or whatever, like where he has the little where he has like the little time machine and everything on his wrist.
What?
And this is all supposed to be during the exact same time. And so I'm just like, I'm very confused about everything and how that they're, I don't know, it's just like, I'm just so confused with everything. I just don't understand.
Multiverse.
Yeah, multiverse, but I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And where were all these other characters, during this time frame, and especially during like Deadpool's movies and during the X-Men and everything? Like, none of it makes any fucking sense to me. Like, I'm just so confused. I'm just
They
so
need to rest.
confused.
Maybe Loki will clear it up with the timekeepers now.
Oh
That's-
yeah, I know. I did think that was super interesting, and I will say, with watching that first episode, I was just like, man, I do wonder what the Timekeeper War looked like. Like, I wouldn't mind having the visuals because because the Timekeepers are basically like God, is the way that they're making them seem, that they're above everybody else because a god comes into the Timekeepers area and they're not able to use their powers. So that means that they're basically higher gods than everybody else.
Yeah.
So I will say, like, I am a little bit interested. I wouldn't mind seeing the Timekeeper War, and like, I want to know, like, that must be it would have to be epic. Like, it has to be more than epic, basically.
What do you think, Lyndon?
Yeah, Lyndon's been
Perfect.
very much defending this show.
Perfect. I am defending this show because I think hearing you talk about mushrooms and like higher experiences, and then you look at Loki, it's like giving people this idea that, hey, everything you've thought that mattered, it actually doesn't matter, and that's okay because you got other things to do. I'm like, that's what everyone's missing because they're getting stuck. Like, oh, but my Infinity Stones don't work now. Oh, I can't handle it. It's like, yeah, let go. It doesn't matter.
Well, I'll watch the episode and then I'll either agree with you, Lyndon, or argue with you.
I'm not sure if I can just let go, though, Lyndon. I don't know if I can just let go.
They may
Like,
be
hold on.
They made the Infinity Stones like, oh yeah, they use them as paperweights. Like they don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Well, they've taken away all the free will as well.
But they made them so important throughout this entire movie saga, only to be like, oh yeah, they don't matter. Just a drawer full of Infinity Stones, and we use them as paperweights. And it's like, what?
Well, again, in the real story, the Timekeepers actually went after the Avengers for meddling in the timeline. So the original story is different to the way that they're portraying it
Right,
here.
because they told Loki, they literally told him, it was just like, oh no, it's just you.
Yeah, they were supposed to do what they did.
Yeah.
They were supposed to meddle in the timeline and basically cause these branches to come off. But,
But Loki wasn't supposed to.
But Loki wasn't supposed to. Based on an event of them meddling in the timeline. It doesn't add up. Like, that was supposed to happen, but you weren't supposed to pick up the Tesseract. Okay. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. I don't really get that.
I didn't know.
But Loki being Loki, he would have picked up. He would have tried. He would have done it. I don't know.
Well, it's in his nature to do exactly what he did. So how can the Avengers do what they're supposed to do, and that's supposed to happen, but then this event isn't supposed to happen within that? Okay.
Look at Lyndon.
Like, say something.
It's going to explode.
No,
on,
I showed you my script. It's fucking like, it's a 20-minute video.
Where was I at?
You just had a fair few super chats come in.
Thank you. Subhuman with a big one. Holy shit. Thank you so much, Subhuman, our boy. He says, hey, Lacey, and hail the full Aussie. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Subhuman.
I feel like you've won quite a few people over tonight,
yes.
Lacey.
Yay.
There was a few people in the chat saying Lacey should start her own channel. Would you ever consider doing that?
I am going to be doing my own channel. I'm just, so I'm planning for that for 2022 is either I'm going to get on YouTube or I'm going to get on Twitch for, just chatting, maybe some gaming. The thing is when I game, I like to just play. I don't need a whole bunch of fans following my coattail and being like, Lacey, let me still have the fantasy while we're playing these games. I'm like, let me just play my fucking games. Yeah. And so it's just going to be for talking, but I've been so busy this year because I got Penthouse Pet of the Year. And then I have Black Widow. Thank you. And so this year's been really crazy for me. And it's also a year of COVID. So it's just like I've been working on everything, trying to get, my life very routine and organized. And so I try to get on live on my Instagram all the time. And it usually goes over really, really, really well. So this has been something that the fans have been asking for a very long time. But I've been wanting to possibly do a YouTube channel. Doing reviews on anime. So basically as soon as the anime comes out,
nice.
As soon as the anime comes out, we literally watch the anime, live. People can't see the anime. I'm going to be watching the anime. I'll have my reactions and have a guest star with me. And then we'll go ahead and break down that anime is what I was thinking about doing. And then we could talk about anything else, weed, what's going on in their life, not politics, but like if we want to talk about the world, what's going on in the world. Nothing too crazy, but it's just like we want to talk about other movies and TV shows and things that they favor and answer questions and sort. But I think that's kind of the direction that I want to do.
People want to know when they can sub. So you're going to be creating the channel next year?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
awesome.
I happen to know a few YouTubers if you need help getting it set up.
I will definitely never turn down help. Like anybody that turns down help is way too proud.
Yeah. I agree.
Have Lethal on as a guest star talking about anime. He can talk your ear off all day.
Yeah, no.
He broke me down because I'm not a huge anime fan. I never have been, but he broke me down, and I watch anime now. Yeah.
I love anime. I'm so happy I got to live in Japan for 3 years. Like, that was the best experience I've ever had in my life. Like, first off, the people, the culture, the cleanliness, the food, like, everything about that area was absolutely amazing. And, like, before I moved to Japan, watching things with subtitles was kind of like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of Americans, they're like, oh, we don't watch that, basically, you know, like we don't watch subtitles. And then after going to Japan and everybody watched subtitles, I came back to America and was just like, you guys are all missing out. You guys are some losers. Like, you are really American. Like, holy, I don't read subtitles. It's just like, okay, American. Like, go watch your soap opera. Like,
subs over dubs. Remember that.
Seriously, 100%. Yeah, well, it's just like because when certain things translate over to English, it's like sometimes they don't always say the exact same thing. So if you want the most authentic experience, then you need to read the subtitles. That way you can actually see what the artist and what the director and like everybody who created these animes, you actually get to see their work as authentic as possible when you're watching it with subtitles versus having it dubbed.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, like, you know, you have places sometimes like Funimation, for example, will change what they're saying. You're like, but then you watch it in the subtitle, you go, and it's crazy how much sometimes like two different words in a sentence can change the whole context. So that's why I think subtitles is better personally.
Oh yeah.
One of our mods, Mara Jade Shadow, who happens to be a big Mara Jade fan herself, says Team Mara. So Diego says, forgot to put this in a super chat. Miss Leonard, what's your favorite Pokemon game and your favorite Pokemon?
Favorite Pokemon game and favorite Pokemon. I would probably have to go with, let's see, because I love the games that they're putting out now, and I really do love like their future of animation on the game. So it's just like I love but I also really love the OGs. You know, it's just like going back to like when I was on my Game Boy and when I had like my big disc, and it's just like I never had the elongated one. I had the little square one where you actually flip up. And I remember one of the first ones that I got was I got Pearl and then I got Red. And it's just like those were old, like old, and I just remember like playing. It's just like, and the characters were like this big, and they were so slow unless you finally got a bike. And when you got a bike, your whole fucking world changed. You're like, oh shit, now I'm playing. So I honestly, I'm like Emerald. I loved Emerald.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, Emerald is beautiful just because of what's his fucking name at the end? The fucking, god damn it! I'm just like I get asked questions and then I blank on them. But what's the end Pokemon that you get because it's the big green one?
Rayquaza.
Yeah, Rayquaza. There we go. Rayquaza, I would definitely say, is probably one of my absolute favorites just because it's so beautiful and it's so powerful. I also do, like, I'm an OG fan, so I love Charizard. There's something about him. He's just so OG. Like, I just feel like just pick me up and whisk me away. Like, let's just go fly off to, like, a little island or something and, like, you know, like, breathe fire. Like, that sounds amazing. And then I'm also a really big Eevee fan with all the evolutions. The Eevee evolutions are just so cute to play with, and they're just so fun to play with. And I'm just like, I generally always need like an Eevee, or I'll also take a Ninetales. But also in one of the last Pokemons where you have, where it's not Sword and Shield, but the one that was before that one on the little island, you can make your Ninetales into a white one. And it's just like it's a special evolution that you can have a white, like snowy Ninetales, and I think that one is absolutely gorgeous as well too.
Yes, there's an interesting thought. Lacey for Misty.
Oh yeah. Aw. I've seen so many girls in the industry do that type of cosplay, so I try to stay away from the things that everybody else does.
Yeah, fair enough. But sometimes you got to go to the classics. But
Well,
yeah,
I also wanted to make sure. So it was really important for me inside the industry that I became a porn star. So it's just like I didn't want to be there. There's so many redheads in the cosplay field, but there are not that many redheads who have really made it up there when it comes to porn. And so I did not want to go ahead and put myself into a genre where I am competing against all these other redheads in the cosplay category. And I said, no, I'd rather go ahead and trump the porn category and try to be the #1 redhead. Once I've secured that spot, then I'm going to go ahead and start doing cosplay again, because I literally, like, I have so many wigs and so many costumes around my house, and my storage is just full of cosplay costumes, that I used to do that back over at the brothel. And I used to dress up all the time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I used to dress up all the time, and like I love to take pictures and everything like that. But then I stopped again when I came to porn, because I was doing a little bit of it. But everybody wanted to typecast me, and I was no longer Lacey Lennon. I was this character and this character and this character, and I wanted to go ahead and lay the foundations of being Lacey Lennon. So now we're in Black Widow. It's not just, oh, well, redhead's in Black Widow. It's, holy shit, it's Lacey Lennon is Black Widow, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. So now that I've done this with my name, I can now start going back to doing cosplay without losing the name of Lacey Lennon.
Mm-hmm.
It matters.
Yeah.
No, that is pretty cool. Where are we at to? Stefan says, hail to the panel and everyone in the chat. Nice meeting you, Lacey. You can be my Mara Jade any day.
Aww.
Thank you. Then we had Stephen Walton. What's up, man? He says, incredible panel, and here's a tip for the jar. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, they're tipping today.
Sorry?
Oh, I said I'm looking at the tips. I'm like, they're tipping.
Yeah, thank you. It keeps the lights on. It keeps the internet running, so we can do more of these. So thank you so much, everybody. We normally get demonetized anyway, so it all does help. Biggles says, Lacey's show needs Lethal for a guest. Well, if she'll have me, I'll go on. We can argue about anime.
He can be an extra.
Yeah. Where are we at? Cowman. Thank you very much, Cowman. He says, I've been watching for a while, and I'm confident to say that Lacey is based. If Lacey doesn't know what based means, Lethal enlightened her. It means that you think for you're normal. You think for yourself. You have your own opinions. You stand by them. But if someone disagrees, you're not going to totally flip out and go, nah, 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 nah. That's what that means. So, yeah, I do agree with that, Cowman.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'm a human.
Fuck yeah.
I'm a human. Love it.
And then we had... Oh, I missed one. Sorry. It was from Snacks and Comics. He says, I've got 2 recommendations, video games. Nier Automata, which I absolutely adore. I love that game with all my heart. And anime, you should watch Claymore. Yeah, Claymore's pretty good. Claymore is kind of like, to put it in a very simple term, it's kind of like The Witcher, except they all have to be female because like it just the doing the process to turn them into a little bit more superhuman like just doesn't work as well on males. So they're all females and they all kind of look somewhat similar because of like the experiments that get done to them, but it's all like swords and dark fantasy type shit. It's pretty badass.
What'd you guys think of Castlevania?
I thought season 1 was incredible. I thought season 2 was pretty good. Season 3 I thought was a bit weak, but still good, but still decent. And season 4 I didn't mind. I personally would have rather they continued season 5 as opposed to starting to doing spin-offs.
Yeah, I thought it will, especially for it because like it's an American animation is what it, so I thought it was pretty decent for, a group of Americans and everything to go ahead and create, try to attempt anime. And I thought they did a decent job, with the artistry and how that they were depicting everything. And I liked the storyline as well.
I love Dracula in that. Like,
yeah, seriously.
I'm one of those people, when they do Dracula, he has to be the most ruthless, unrelenting. Dracula can't be a bitch.
Right.
Like when Dracula pops up and he goes, I'm going to kill every single one of you in 1 year, he fucking means it.
Seriously.
Now, I noticed that you love to sing, Lacey.
Yeah.
I
You've got
have
a
like
beautiful
I have like
voice.
my microphone set up and everything like right over here. I was like,
You do.
because
You do have a beautiful voice.
here's my mic setup. Ugh.
Yeah, I've seen you on Twitter and very, very nice voice.
Thank you. Yeah, I grew up in churches, so I sang all the time in church. And then a part of all my choirs, and I would do my competitions. I was part of county and state every single year. And that's how I got got into the opera program, was because I had to audition for it. And yeah, it was definitely a big dream of mine to be on Broadway, no matter what I wanted to perform. But when I moved, so it's just like before I moved, I was 6 months out from graduating out in North Carolina, and so I was planning on running way over to New York. But then my parents, they retired and wanted to go out to Nevada, and my sisters are 10 years younger than I am. So I didn't want to split up from my family quite yet, and I wanted to be a part of their life. So I said, F that, and I was just like, I'm just going to go out to Nevada. And so it's just like I was always interested in Broadway, and I was definitely, very interested in that dream. But I love Playboy. I love Marilyn Monroe. I was very interested in the porn industry as well, and just the adult industry overall. And so when I made my way out to Nevada, and after I had graduated, and then I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to college, and I want to go ahead and try the singing thing. And it just didn't really, it just didn't really work out for me, especially going to school for something like that. You don't need to go to school. You either have it or you don't, and you need to go out and audition. People have to hear you, because you go to school for these things, you're just going to waste all this money to become a teacher, and then you're going to teach other people how to possibly achieve your dreams. And that was not something that I wanted to do. And so I was very happy that I left college. I'm very happy that I left college, and then I made my way out to LA after the brothel and got into the industry that I did, because, it's just like trying to have people to hear my voice online is basically impossible. Like, the internet is so saturated. So what my industry has allowed me to do is to be heard. And it's been really wonderful, because I'm not trying to become famous, and I'm not trying to become, I don't want anything out of my singing. Like, it's passion for me. It means so much to me, and it is more so a hobby. And if I can sing and if I can create something for people, and, then that makes me happy. But I don't want anything out of it, because I never want it to become a job, because I've already had it kind of be a job before, and it takes away all the fun. It takes away all the passion. And I've learned it's something that I do not really want to do on an aspect where, again, it's like a job and I'm getting paid out for it. It ruins all the fun, and, and it's too much stress, and I don't like it. So I do enjoy coming online and singing for everybody, whenever I feel like it, basically. But more so, buy my porn.
So two questions.
That's what I want you to do. Buy my porn.
So 2 questions. 1, do you have a go-to song that you like to sing? And 2, what is your favorite Broadway show?
My favorite Broadway show would have to be Wicked or Les Mis. Those are my 2 favorites. Wicked and Les Mis just is like where my heart and soul is. Yeah. And I just like, I am Elphaba.
Wicked makes me cry when she's singing Defying Gravity and she goes up. Oh God, it gets me every time.
Seriously,
I love it.
It is my absolute fucking favorite. And my go-to song generally tends to be Loch Lomond, which is a folk song. And I just love it just because, like, it's a lot, because, like, I have Gaelic in my blood. Like, I'm a mix between Scottish and Irish. And so it's just like Loch Lomond is just a very, like, old family folk song. And, like, it means, and then same thing with Oh Danny Boy. So I love Oh Danny Boy, Loch Lomond, and then May It Be, which is from Lord of the Rings. Those are probably some of my absolute favorite songs to sing.
Now, Lyndon is a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Can you sing a little bit of?
Oh no, I'm sorry.
On the spot.
Warmed up, like...
You know, when you start your own channel, you can sing whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like one thing about like whenever people talk about my singing that I get all the time, they're like, "So sing for us," and I'm just like, "Not a dancing monkey, like,
Yeah.
not
You
a
gotta let
dancing
it just
monkey."
happen. You just gotta
Yeah,
let it
I
happen.
just like it to happen is what I like, because otherwise I get too nervous. You know, and it's just like I'm not gonna put myself out there to fail. So whenever I try to do things, I want to be as fail proof as possible, and I'll be honest with the world about that. Like I'm sitting in my chair, I just drank a whole bunch of milk coffee, basically an iced chai latte. So I just had a whole bunch of milk. Like I'm sitting slouched in my chair, no warm up, no nothing. Let me be honest about the situation. I'm proud of this moment.
Buy my porn.
I missed one from Cowman. My apologies. He says geeks can smell bullshit before normal people do. That's very true. I mean, we look at like trailers and all different types of announcements, and we go, "I'm suspicious of this," or we look at it and go, "Yeah, maybe that could be all right." But like you said about the Black Widow trailer, you look at it and go, "That's just kind of boring." So
Yeah.
you can kind of catch on to the drift a bit. But thank you, Cowman. Where was I at? Oh, Christopher Arcella, thank you very much, sir. He says, since you're into anime, you should get into, oh God, how do I pronounce this? I'm going to butcher this. Rurouni Kenshin. It's one of my all-time favorite animes. Do you get like heaps of anime recommendations all the time?
All the time.
That's what I love about weebs.
Everybody, it's like here's my anime recommendation, here's my music recommendation, here's my podcast recommendation, here's my book recommendation, here's my YouTube, recommendation, and I'm just like, I think it's really great, but like I am not a helpless human being, and I will ask for recommendations every once in a while. But for the most part, it's just like I am first of all, I'm an Aquarius, so like I research everything. Like I have to know everything, have to be up to date. I over research, over analyze. I'm that person. I know what's up generally before everybody else knows what's up, and I'm just like, it's within my personality. I don't know, maybe some people call it obsession, but but yeah, so it's just like I do love it, but it's just like I have a substantial amount of fans, and I'm very blessed and very grateful. But when I have thousands of people DMing me every day giving like 1 to 10 recommendations, it's like I can't keep up like realistically, and like I tell people like I'm good on the recommendations just because like I have so many people giving me recommendations, and I know what's going on in the world, and like I'm a real fan of these things, so I definitely the fact that I'm a real fan of these things, like I'm doing my own research. I don't need recommendations. I already know what I'm going to watch next. I already know what I'm going to do next, and I know what's going to be released in the future. So I'm ready. My calendar is already marked, and like I'm on my way.
Whenever I get a recommendation, I just add it to my list, and I look at my list, and I'm like, "Fuck me, man! I'm going to be here for a long time, man." And then like you go, "All right, I'm up to this one." You open it, and you're like, "Oh, 50 episodes. Okay." All right, this might take a while. Biggles, this is a good question. What's your favorite song to play on that piano, Lacey?
My favorite song to play on the piano? Imagine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, my name is Lacey Lennon for a reason. I'm a really big John Lennon fan. I'm a really big oldies fan just in general. It was mainly my grandparents who raised me. So, and just like, again, oldies, like when it comes to rock and oldies, like oldies pop, like Whitney Houston is one of my all-time favorites. So playing Greatest Love of All or I Will Always Love You, but also shout out to Dolly Parton because she is also another Queen Bee. And so shout out to her as well. So it's just like Whitney Houston was definitely a really big idol of mine, and then same thing with Freddie Mercury. That's why I have a Freddie Mercury quote still on my Twitter, and I've had it there since like day one of like ever since I got in the industry, because Freddie is just like my heart and soul, and like who he is as a person, because as he says, in life, or like on stage, I'm a devil, but in life, I'm a social reject. And that's exactly how I feel. Like everybody loves me when I'm on stage, when the camera's on, and when when I'm performing, it's just like suddenly everybody's my biggest fan. But then the moment that I get off from performing, it's almost like I'm completely alone, and it's really crazy. So Freddie's one of those people that I really, really relate with, and you know, somebody who was taken from our world way too soon. And so, but yeah, so it's just like playing Bohemian Rhapsody because it's actually pretty easy. Imagine. I also love Not Unusual by Tom Jones. It's also another really beautiful song. I absolutely love that one. That was actually one of my Gram's favorite songs ever. And so like she would literally like have like her floor length silk gown on, right? And she'd pour her wine glass and she would pull her silk gown right above her knee, Captain Morgan the chair, and start, you know, with her wine glass. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. Amazing stuff. And so, yeah, these are definitely like my go-tos and my favorites that I'll go ahead and play. Oh, and then Disney too. I love like so many like Disney princess songs are my bread and butter in life. Like I'm literally a Disney princess when it comes to my vocals.
I have no shame in admitting that I can sing most of the Frozen soundtrack from heart. Yep. I have no shame in admitting that.
I quit.
Where we at? Okay, and then we have Orange Hat Reviews. Thank you very much, sir. He says, Lacey, do you have a favorite person to perform with in the industry? Thinking.
I'm pretty great. my solos, I get the job done in my solos.
That's like the best answer we could have.
Yeah.
If I were to say like any like people who I love to work with, like Kenzie is somebody I rarely ever get to work with her because we're both so busy. But when we do get to work with each other, like our scenes are absolutely explosive. Anna Fox is also a good one. I just did another scene with Anna Fox, and that scene was absolutely spectacular. I recommend Anna for everybody. You want personality, you want energy, you want the flavor, like Anna brings it. So Anna and Kenzie are probably two of my favorites, and that's why Axel knows what's up. Like he knows who the good people are in the industry, which is like why he hires them for his movies. Because do you guys remember Anna and Captain Marvel?
Yep.
Okay, good. I was about to say. Yep. I'm like, you better. So and then guys in the industry, I think like the best in the top guys would definitely have to be Seth Gamble, because he's contracted and he is just an amazing person. And so shout out to him for being contracted through Wicked. That was a really big achievement for him. I think Mick Blue is a phenomenal person in the industry. And then same thing with Manuel Ferrara. So he is an absolute sweetheart. He's a fellow gamer, fellow nerd, part of the Geek Squad. He dresses up and does his cosplay. He's a really cool dude. He looks like from the outside, like I feel like most people like would look at him and go, oh, you're just a meathead and you're just a pretty boy. And it's like, nah, Manuel is so quiet. He's very shy, and he is a really like nice human being on the inside. Just in his scenes, he seems like this big, powerful, you know, man basically. But it's just like when you get him off camera, you're like, oh my God, you're just like a total softie and a total nerd. Like what an awesome human. And he's a dad too. Like he's an amazing human being. So I love all, and like same thing, Mick is a dad as well. Very, 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 they're family men. And so they're so kind on the inside. They care so much about their kids. They bring the work ethic on set. They do not disrespect people's boundaries. Like they are good human beings. So I would say Anna Fox, Kenzie Taylor, and then Manuel, Mick Blue, and Seth. I think that those are like some of the most like top tier people in the industry.
And yourself. And then
give myself a pat on the
back. Daniel James, oh boy, he says, Lacey, many things can end up happening when it comes to super chats. Just ask the panel. It's true. This one here may or may not have twerked on stream.
Twice.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get any of the money. That's the horrible thing, Lacey.
It wasn't on this stream.
I know, it was on someone else's stream.
So can't blame me for that. And Yeah, but,
It's my own fault.
Yeah, well, it is. I
Yeah,
think
the-
it's,
The
for
second
free.
time he invited himself.
Yeah.
So
I did.
it's like he just wanted to do it, to be honest with you.
You're like
For
a
free.
party girl. And then you
Yes,
regret it
that's
later.
right.
You're just like a party girl.
I don't think he regretted it, though. That's the...
No.
Yeah.
No regrets.
That's yeah. He was fully on board with that one.
Yep.
Now I think we'll start winding down. Lacey, do you have anything you want to promote or anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Yes, everybody, make sure that you join in on July 9th for Black Widow, because that is, I don't know if we talked about it or not, but it's like a really big movie that's coming out by Axel. Not sure if we touched on that or anything, or if you guys even knew, but it'll be out on July 9th, and it is going to be absolutely amazing. And then I just created a new Instagram. I got my Instagram shut down at 500,000 because they said it was a fraudulent account. They said I was the fake account and all the fake accounts were the real ones. So I got it taken away and I made a new one. And so I cannot use my name otherwise, because I will get it immediately shut down. So the Instagram name is Spitty Mix Spitter. And if you are questioning
Nice.
where and how and what that means, just think about it for 2 seconds. 2 seconds, and it'll literally come to you.
Nice. Oh, I apologize. There was
Perfect.
one that I actually missed. I'm sorry. It's from Tim again. Open airlock policy. He said that you could also be a Tenel Ka, which is another Star Wars character. I agree.
Oh yeah, I'd rather be Mara Jade.
I think everyone would rather be Mara Jade.
It's my fantasy with Luke. I mean, I could totally, because the same exact thing is that somebody could say that I could be Wanda, but I think I'm more Black Widow than I am Wanda. Like, I could be really any redhead character, but it's just like, I don't know. I think I'm more Black Widow than I am Wanda, and I'm definitely more Mara than I think anybody else. Like, in the entire Star Wars everything, like, Mara is me. I don't know what else. It's who I feel like I connect with.
Yeah, but the same day as the Disney one, we're also getting the better one. So here we are. Lacey Lennon is Black Widow. I can't wait. You know what I'm really looking forward to seeing is, I love how Axel does the costume reveals.
yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing the Black Widow one. So I can go like, oh, I think I know where he got I think I know the comics he based this off. So that's going to be really cool. But thank you so much for coming on, Lacey. We really do appreciate it. Maybe we'll get you back on after the movies come out. We'll do a bit of a post Black Widow breakdown or something and see how it's all gone down for you. But thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Thank you for having me.
No worries. All right. Everybody in the chat, much love. Thanks you for coming out. If you missed this, I will re-upload it once it's processed. It can take a bit of time, but I'll be on top of it ASAP. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you all later.
Bye, guys.
Lyndon,
Bye.
say bye.